Do not adjust your radio dial. You are tuned in to the Mark Order Podcast. Join the Mark Order.
Oh, man. Call me Danny Tanner. It's another full house tonight. You're on the Mark Order Podcast. I'll be Danny Tanner. Kate's here. You can be Aunt Becky.
That is high esteem. Years from now, there will be a university scandal surrounding me, but I will take Aunt Becky.
I'm going to go with Ryan could be Uncle Jesse.
Need a mullet.
I mean, you can work on that. You've
Uncle Joey.
You've got a few wigs. You've got a few wigs. You can get there. Uncle Joey's definitely millionaire Matt Bowman tonight. What is he doing?
Why you have to use my full name, man?
I mean, it's out there, sir.
Fave it, bro. Fave it.
All right. Well,
Pat barely faves it. He puts it out there all the time.
That is true.
slap me silly and call me Chris Rock. It's the Mark Order Podcast.
Yeah, you fucking hack. You're the worst. The worst. I'm done. I'm out.
See you, Matt.
See ya.
The other joke that I heard it on the radio. I'm not taking credit for it, and it was known to be a bad joke.
Don't do it.
I'm a big fan of the Bonfire on Sirius XM with Big J Okerson and Dan Soder. Crackle, crackle to anybody who listens. My favorite joke that I heard was, unfortunately, Taylor Hawkins passed last week. He lost his long fight with Foo. Kate got it.
That was a good one.
There you go.
That was a good one.
We have fun here.
We do have fun here, fellas.
Matt before we came on the air was full of piss and vinegar. And there you go. That makes sense.
You went with a hack joke and followed it up with a tragedy joke.
You do a podcast with Kevin Garifo.
That's
I
true.
don't want to hear anything about you not being able to tolerate hack jokes, okay? That's where Kevin and I connect.
The slap jokes are they murdered that 20 minutes after it happened.
They did.
Dude, I was watching that in real time and I was like, what the fuck just happened? Because it's Sunday night. What else am I going to watch? There's no sports on.
Anything else?
No sports on. And it's on for hours. I could sit back and not care about what's going on.
Sure, you could put on fucking WWE and do the same thing.
Well, I can't because I don't have the network.
You know the cock?
No, don't have the cock. Don't have the cock.
I'm sorry to hear you don't have a cock.
No, I have
for Mrs. Money.
I have a cock, and I have proof of that. I don't have the cock.
One of my friends at Fight Club says, whenever everyone's like, "You're a virgin in your mom's basement," he's like, "Well, I have 2 kids, so I had sex at least twice.
At minimum.
At minimum, I had it 2 times. So no, I'm not."
Now, Schlong, you've been pretty silent over there in the 4 minutes since we started the show. I know the bit is terrible tag teams, but I got to say, I have no qualms with the Powers of Pain there, buddy.
So, actually, I'm going to leave them in focus right now while I'm out of focus because it's good for this conversation. Not that I necessarily think they were a terrible tag team, but they're just one of those teams where, like, I see them and I laugh for some reason.
Well, I mean,
and I don't know why.
The Barbarian's got like rabbit fur on his shoulders.
Yeah. Well, hold on.
Warlord's got a terrible hairdo. And then Mr. Fuji's running the show. That's laughable. It is 80s wrestling at its finest.
Yeah. That's, I guess, why I can't, like, for the time they weren't considered like a joke team, but looking back, I'm just like, I can't help but laugh.
I have
and they weren't elite.
There weren't.
Look at Mr. Fuji. What a
Look,
fucking
you
guy.
had to balance. There had to be an evil superpower team to go against Demolition. Hence the powers of pain.
There you go.
Great heel turn by Fuji at Survivor Series.
That's good. I should watch that. I need
Fuji
stuff
the
to go watch.
Stooge.
I've been meaning to hit you up for stuff to refresh my my looking up list.
It's not five tag teams versus 5 tag teams is a lot to digest.
Yeah.
1988, 87, whenever that happened.
A lot of humans.
A lot of men just standing on the ring apron watching 2 dudes just wrestle.
I mean, that's happened in AEW a few times.
Yeah, those original run of Survivor Series that were they were unique, I guess. I'd say, like,
Watch your mouth. Don't say anything.
I think the best years were like 90 through like 95, 96 of Survivor Series.
Yeah, I mean, I think from the original Survivor Series up until like 97. I hate to say the screw job, but like the tournament in 98, I hated because they mocked the Brett finish and the Gilberg. But this isn't a WWF podcast. This is an AEW podcast. We're live on the rant.
Hey, we're live on the rant.
Hello to
you
the
guys
one
know that.
person listening.
You know what? They promoted it. So I said,
Good.
well, I guess it's WrestleMania week. So
Sure. Because we're
Whatever that
talking
means.
all about WrestleMania.
it's a big week for wrestling fans, Ant Money. I mean, I'm with you. I have not watched any wrestling since last Wednesday. I feel great.
Oh, good.
There's
Feeling good?
there's too
Feeling
much.
fresh?
You can't do it all. It's impossible. And then if you do try it, you burn yourself out, and then it all just blends together, and nothing really sticks out, and it's just not my cup of tea. I'm good where I'm at.
Excited for Super Card of Honor, though, Matt?
I am excited for Super Card of Honor and the Impact multiverse show Friday night, and that'll probably be the only 2 things I watch from this week.
Bucky.
Yo, that Super Card. First of all, Super Card of Honor. I don't know why I thought it was Saturday. It is Friday.
Yep.
But that card is great. The World Championship Unification, Gresham versus Bandito, banger. World Tag Team Championships, Briscoes versus the Top Guys, FTR, banger. Pure Championship, Josh Woods versus Wheeler Yuta, a lot of potential to be a banger. Interim Women's World Championship, Mercedes Martinez versus Willow, yup, sign me up. Then you get Swerve versus Alex Zane, yeah. And then Jay Lethal versus Lee Moriarty, yeah, that's a great card. I will plunk down money easy on that.
Daniel Bryan yesing to all of that.
What a great card. And they just announced Willow and Mercedes like yesterday.
Well, because Deanna was supposed to be there, I think, and then is not. So,
Tony really like. I was gonna say Tony likes the MMA style of interim championships instead of number 1 contenders.
Well, they have to have. Well, Roxy left, right? So there's no.
Deanna's the champ.
Oh, wait. When did Deanna take the chance? Oh, that's right.
To be Roxy,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
They seem to want to be keeping Deanna away from AEW programming. So I don't know what that's about. I don't know if it's an Impact conflict or whatever, but it's a little weird because I think there's a lot of people that would want to see her, but whatevs. I'm very excited about that pay-per-view. I think that's going to be probably my favorite thing of the weekend. So that's exciting. That'll be fun.
Yeah, it's a great way to get it started. Rampage Friday night too, but I wonder if they're going to kill their own ratings with this pay-per-view. So I'm sure they don't care. The pay-per-view should be awesome.
I concur. I agree.
So what's happening with everybody here? Matt, what have you been up to besides not watching wrestling since last week?
Doing the work, doing some working. Primed up for baseball season, ready for that. Been going to the gym.
Oh,
Yeah, feeling good. started collecting something else, so I got that
Uh-oh.
going on. Yeah. Decided I was going to jump back into the baseball card game.
Oh boy.
Ooh.
So that's been fun. I've been organizing my wrestling magazines. If you follow the Wizards Podcast on Twitter at Wizards Podcast, I've been posting a lot of great pictures of old magazines and some things that I thought were hysterical, like the
those posts have been awesome.
like the pull-out poster of Chris Benoit and Woman, and it says "Chris is my guy."
Sure is.
Didn't age well.
Did not.
But
Did
man,
not.
there's some great stuff in there, and so I spent the last 2 days just bagging everything up, like putting them in plastic and organizing them. So I think I'm gonna do more with because I have I don't know why or how I had Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazines from the 79 and 80, and I wasn't even born yet, so I don't know how I got those. And I have
That's so rad, though. I love that shit so much.
And I have some really old WWF magazines from 85, 86 that I definitely didn't have as a child because I definitely would have destroyed them.
Sure.
So I had a very nice, productive weekend. I've been going to the gym with the wife, and let's get ready for opening day and
bikini season. You're trying to get in shape over there.
No, I'm just trying not to die before I'm 50. So
Matt's been working on his obliques, getting ready for baseball.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, the weather this week fucked me because the last week I was going for walks because I have all these beautiful paths around me, the Patriots path. So I've been going for 4-mile walks, and then it got really cold, and I was like, "Fuck this noise! I got to work in this shit. I ain't going out in it for fucking an hour and a half."
Well, when you can get back on the Patriots path, do it. You're a great American.
I will. I don't know why it makes me an American, but it's fun.
You're a patriot.
Concerns me the signs of they have the signs, the beware of the bear sign.
Mhm.
And
They're your brethren, though.
Yeah, but I got my headphones in. I'm listening to the MLB Network or a podcast, and
I just feel like they'd be nice
I
to a
get
fellow
back-
bear.
I get back here in the hills, bro. I don't.
They have eyes.
They can sneak up on me.
They
A
do.
bear. I don't know how do I call out if I get attacked by a bear? What do I do?
Ask Masha Slamovich.
Can I outrun a bear?
No.
Someone told me if you run downhill, a bear can't go downhill.
Well, someone
Person
told
wants you to
is
die.
You're not supposed to run.
No, it's supposed to go ah
You're supposed to make yourself big. Yeah,
bigger.
I believe.
So yeah, it's been good though. It's nice. I can keep up on the wrestling by just reading the dirt sheets. So I don't need to fucking try and cram 1,000 fucking hours of wrestling into my Monday afternoon. So it's easier. It's easier that way. I feel better.
I was gonna say, did you just figure that out?
No, but for a while I was enjoying, says the girl who's going to spend 8 hours watching WrestleMania this weekend. I was enjoying watching NWA and Impact and stuff, but then my only day off is Monday, so to sit down, wake up and just start watching wrestling from the minute I wake up till the time I do the podcast, it sucks the life out of me.
Yeah.
So
It's exhausting.
If there's anything worth watching, I will decide what to watch.
There you go.
Makes complete sense.
Yeah, and less Twitter for me.
It's
Yeah.
successful.
I'm barely on Twitter.
Smart
See,
man.
when I go in on Wednesday nights to throw up our promotional tweets, that's when I'm like, "Oh, you've been mentioned 8 times. Well, let's see if it's
I
anything
tried to
should
put
care
you over,
about."
brother, with the Fozzy.
You did. I responded tonight when I saw it. For some reason, I
Oh.
don't get notifications. All my notifications are on. They're set up right, but for some fucking reason, I don't get anything.
Tell you, I shared a picture today from a magazine.
Mhm.
WWF checks.
Like
on.
the cereal?
What? No,
Checks,
like an actual check from 2000 where you could get Triple H on it or China or The Rock or Jericho. And I was like, man, I'd love to find somebody who fucking had. They're like, I'm an adult. I'm writing a check on my wrestler check to pay the mortgage.
I recently saw somebody I know whip out their debit card,
Whoa! Didn't know where that was going.
and it was Darth Vader, and I was
I
like,
can dig that.
I was like, what a nerd.
Dude, going through these fucking magazines, man. I don't think the world ever see a time when the wrestling business was as big as it is. There was ads for the craziest, weirdest shit. I shared something today. You could mail away for 3 VHS or DVD
Oh.
on how to learn to become a wrestler.
Oh, okay. Not as exciting as what I thought you were going to say, but
No,
okay.
But what? And then Conan endorsed it. He was like, "This is essential if you want to be a professional wrestling." I'm like, "What?"
Conan also endorses one of the shows on the network, so I trust him.
You don't go to wrestling school. You just order these fucking tapes from the back of a PWI, and you're fucking good to go.
Yeah,
what?
You're in, man.
Fucking early 2000s.
Amazing.
It's perfect. That's fantastic.
Who made the DVDs? Was it like Mike Quackenbush?
No, I don't know who it was.
Hold on, I just gotta. Matt mentioned it, so I just wanted to bring. These are the checks. I don't know if you can see them too well.
Wow, look at Dwayne. Just staring at you while you pay your rent or whatever the fuck.
And then that I'm assuming is the check book. You get the Brahma Bull on the front of the book.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
My God.
I want them now. Can we get them
I
now?
still have-
be alive. There's a
still
Jericho
have-
one.
Here's my boring checks. There's no Brahma Bull on this. I'm going to send away for some rock checks.
I know. Mine just say Chase Bank. Boring.
Mine are New York Mets checks.
I
I
have
don't know where my checks are.
Like for my I can't tell you the last time I wrote a check from my personal checking account.
Same.
Yeah, I don't.
No idea.
That's why I still have. Dude, the checks I have my address from like 2 places ago.
Yeah, they have my address.
I'm like, good luck finding me, asshole.
My
Check
address
will
when I lived at the apartment.
Wow. I don't have rock checks. I have a rock bowling ball.
Ooh.
That is awesome.
Yo,
I
how many pounds are you swinging down the lanes?
It might be 10 or 12 pounds.
I would hope 12 because I do 12.
But I don't listen.
Or you had it when you were like 8?
No. This was an adult purchase, but I'll
Okay.
tell you how this came to be. We were Mrs. Money and I were out somewhere, and we were at like a Goodwill or something like that, right? We just happened to stop in. They were having some sort of thing that day. It was like a ticket sale, right? So they had a bunch of stuff in the window, but you needed a ticket like to go and pick stuff out of the window. And we had no idea how it worked, but we were just looking around and we're leaving. And I happened to look in the window and there was like 2 or 3 bowling balls. And I don't remember what they were. They were all great. It was Mrs. Money said it was Goodwill on Route 46, a window sale.
Ooh.
There were like 3 bowling balls. They were all great. I would have bought all of them if I could have. But the one that I've had my eye on was The Rock. He's giving the people's eyebrow and like some silk shirt. And I think the Brahma Bull's on the other side. And so I'm like, what the fuck? I have to go in and get this. And as I'm going to go back inside, they're pulling it out of the window. I'm like, what the fuck? And I was like, where did and they're like, oh, we're putting it on the floor. I'm like, no. I'll take it right now. The holes were already drilled in it. It fit my fat fingers. I was like, this is meant to be.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was a wrestling bowling ball. Of course it was going to fit fat fingers. Like, what the hell?
Listen, it's even got a name on it. So it's now the ball's name. It's
Homer?
Sergio.
Sergio.
Yeah. Sergio. It is somewhere in like my bedroom closet on the bottom of a bunch of shit. I will dig it out. I promise I will show you guys, or we can go bowling. Either way.
All
With
in.
JD Drake.
All in.
JD
Listen.
Drake will bowl with us.
I would love to have a bowling team. It seems like a bowling league would be fun, but I heard it goes for fucking ever.
I wanted to skip my high school graduation because we had a game that night.
I'm a terrible I'm not like a good bowler, but
Do we get to use bumpers?
come on, what is this?
Yeah,
There's
what
no
are you,
bumpers
Expo?
anymore. You use the elephant.
I can roll,
It's the
baby.
elephant.
Look out.
Can
Look
you
out.
put that English on it? Can you
I
get
used
the
to be-
spin,
Oh,
the
yeah.
hook?
Oh yeah. I
I
don't
can't
use
do
my
any of
thumb.
that.
I don't use my thumb.
There's nothing to do in Binghamton, so I actually got really good at bowling when I was in my teens because I was like mostly well behaved, and there was bowling, Binghamton Mets games, and then like walk around a Walmart. There's nothing else to do in Binghamton. So I was in a bowling league when I was 14. I was real good. I think I bowled a 198, and that was my high score, and I was awesome. And then I won something, and I'm not kidding you. This is the peak physical activity in Binghamton, New York. Bowling was like a quarter of my high school gym curriculum.
Oh my goodness.
And I won some lame ass tournament that we did there. So I don't know if I still got it. It's been a while, but I can contribute.
Mrs. Money's in the chat saying she's looking for Sergio. If she can find
nice.
Sergio,
What a woman.
I will
She's not talking
certainly
about the
show-
bowling ball, Ant.
Ayo!
No, that's not Sergio. That's a different.
Roll. I got a bunch of magnets on the refrigerator. I was a ringer for my buddy's league a couple of years ago. We won the championship.
I honestly, I might have in my life at one point bowled a 120, and that was like the height of my bowling. I'm not
Well, I pitched
great,
softball,
but I like
so
to
like
bowl.
release points were
I don't know
A
if I
straight
ever broke
line.
100.
Yeah,
come on, Schlong. Get it
Well,
together.
I'm sorry, Kate. I grew up a place where there's actually things to do, so we didn't go bowling.
I know where you grew up, and
But,
that's not
that's
true.
what I did,
You grew up
mind you.
outside of a place where there was things to do.
No, there's a lot of things to do in South Jersey too. We don't just have a Walmart and bowling.
yeah, Kate, that's right. There's soft pretzels, water ice, hoagies.
They have as much as what you guys have there up in North Jersey. I don't understand the difference.
Look, when we were in high school, we did the same thing every Friday and Saturday. We went bowling
Uh-huh.
in West Caldwell. We had the head with us, the Al Snow styrofoam head that I got from an ECW show. We had that with us, and then my friend Jamie, he's like the king of finding shit. He found an identical head, like a mannequin head, like that he was using, like with the hair, like the one he was cutting the promos with. So we would bring the heads with us to go bowling and then to the diner every Friday and Saturday night. And people knew us as the head crew, and we rolled and we partied. It was a good time.
You guys felt so cool. You're like, listen, it's Friday. We're gonna get some head. It's great. And then no one didn't tell anyone else that it was just a little.
We didn't
Solid
look. We
thing.
didn't give a shit, man. People knew us. The guy at the. We go up to the guy at the bowling alley, the ball guy, the pin guy. He'd be like, you slip him like a 20. He'd go. They did the laser light bowling where they would set the pins up, and if they lined up in a certain color, it was like $100 shot. He'd give him like 10, and he'd go back there. He'd fucking set him up for you, and he would be fucking screaming his name, Gino. We got a shot on whatever lane.
I shit you not. That's what we did after high school dances. I'm not kidding.
Wow.
We did it after everything. Friday, Saturday night. Then to the
I'll say-
Versailles Diner. for
I
some food
left
fries.
for a reason.
Versailles. Wow. Versailles is not there anymore. It's something
Oh,
else now. It's like
Fucking
West Essex.
Diner.
They have really good rice pudding cheesecake.
I don't get it. I forgot. Let's not leave this out. We would also wrestle on the bowling alley floor.
Oh, sure.
Oh,
why not?
you've just
Suplex-
always been a menace.
Suplexes, sharpshooters, cutters, stunners, whatever. We were doing it all.
You know,
MB Dub.
the one thing I regret is I saw a bunch of shows at Asbury Lanes before they made it all, nice. Yeah. I never bowled there, but I saw plenty of shows there. I wish I got to bowl there.
We need to set up a fucking bowling outing.
Let's do it. I have a ball, but here's the thing. I see a lot of people in the chat talking about having shoes. I don't have the shoes. I still got to rent the shoes. I got to go
I
find
got
some
my
shoes.
shoes are downstairs on the sun porch, baby.
Matt just said he
you
owns
got
the
a
shoes,
bowl?
Kate.
Do you got a
You
ball?
own the shoes.
I have 2 balls, baby.
Look at that.
Hey,
Big ones. I've seen them.
I got the one I clipped from the bowling alley, which has somebody else's initials on it.
Uh-huh. Like Sergio.
I think it's JAP, to be honest with you. Not even kidding you. And then I have one that I think I got from my brother. And then when I was like, at some point, he was like, I don't want this fucking thing. Do you want it? And I was like, yeah, I'll take it.
Tony
But I only
is
use-
in the chat. Hi, Tony.
This is way past his bedtime.
It is. I meant to text him because I saw a really nice picture of Bruno Sammartino and Roberto Clemente making the rounds on the Twitter today. I meant to text it to him. I'll text it to you, Tony.
Hey, Matt.
Yeah, buddy. We got there.
Got a big box here.
I see that. I got a big box. Yes, I do. I got a big box. How about you?
You don't know what you're saying. This is from Ringside Collectibles.
All right. Let's see what he does. What's the fella get today?
Ant's tone is like, let's make a deal.
Now, this has already been opened, I can tell.
Who's got a box? I'll cut you a deal. Anybody got something in a box?
Door number 1, door number 2, or door number 3. It's a door number 3. A Darby
You
Allin
get this? The
situation?
Darby Allin coffin drop? Oh, Matt's going to look.
No, Matt's going to. He's got 2 of them. I saw the other one.
Oh my
Of
god.
course. And he's got one that's open.
Are they gonna kiss? Are they gonna make out?
All right.
This
so
kiss, this
we're good, man.
kiss.
Wow.
also got a
Hey,
tag
Phil.
team belt.
Nice.
A tag team belt.
I got the one back. There's one back here already. That's for baby money at some point
All
to
right.
go with
you-
his collection.
A father-son tag team.
Of course.
The
Why not?
monies.
Did you get the action pack?
Yeah, I got that somewhere over here.
Giant barrel, a ladder,
Yeah, it's over there.
table, chair. There's also a sledgehammer. What are they going to do with that now?
Let me be your sledgehammer.
I like
It
my
is-
song better, Kate.
Peter
It's a big one,
Gabriel.
Matt.
Let's go write a song about it.
Did you get the pop-up? The pop-up entrance finally came.
I got 2 of them over there.
Wait,
Two
can you,
of
gi-
them.
can
I'm
you
out of
give us?
space, bro.
Can you give us a close-up of that? That I actually really want to see.
Jesus Christ.
I'm finally fucking interested in this segment of the show. Okay.
Look who's right on the cover.
Adrenaline in the tunnel.
Cody
That's
Rhodes.
actually really nice.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
They got cool toys now. When we were I mean, I
Yeah.
did WWF ring as a kid, but nothing like this.
I didn't have any of that stuff.
Oh, I had like the 1980s WWF ring with like the cool ropes on there.
I'll tell you what, the
Hasbro ring.
Was that who made it? I
I don't know
Mrs.
what
Money in the chat saying, "Mr. Money, please buy me stuff instead of figures. Thanks."
I'll buy her whatever she wants. I just need to know.
I'll
Gina,
tell you
you're welcome. I don't know how we're 27:32 into the show when he said, "I'll buy her whatever she wants." So there you
The,
go. You
She
go
knows
for that.
this. Don't let her fool you. She knows this. She knows I'll buy her whatever she wants.
Yeah,
Lucky-
Matt, it was the Hasbro
lucky
ring that I
woman.
had.
Nice. Yeah, so I was talking with one of the guys I work with last night about baseball card collecting, and Rhiannon was with me when I purchased a hobby box for the 2022 Topps cards.
Sure.
And then we were talking, and I was like, Mark, these things, baseball cards are fucking expensive now. She was like, what? And I'm like, I was like, what did you pay for that box of cards? I was like, $150. She was like, $150. I'm like, yeah.
You got anything valuable in there?
You know what, Aunt? I don't know. I'm waiting on my Beckett to show up. I have to, because you
Wait a minute.
have to pay to look up prices online.
But are you waiting for a physical book?
Yeah, of course I am. Come on.
Wait a minute. Why wouldn't you just pay for a subscription online?
Because I like to touch it.
But that information will be out of date like
No, I
soon.
get it. It'll come monthly.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll collect those too.
Matt is collecting dead media.
I'll tell you what, and I know nobody gives a shit, but I brought a hobby box, 24 packs, not
Yeah.
one double, dude.
Well, that's good news.
Yeah. So I almost have a complete set.
I
Chasing the high.
I have a bunch of baseball cards somewhere, but I don't know where they are. They're very old.
Yeah, see, that's my next thing. I have a box somewhere. So I have to find it.
That's what she said.
I hope not.
Yeah, I hope not. Jeez. You should know where that is.
How are you? How are you guys doing? I feel like this is all about. I kind of just stole the thunder here. Kate, how are you?
I'm good. I'm anticipating a really busy weekend, but I'm all right. Been a good week so far.
That's good.
6 podcasts in 48 hours is going to be a lot, but we're going to make it through. I'm taking tomorrow off and not talking to anybody. Everybody can see why, except like you guys. I'll like text and whatever. But
Well, you should come to Thursday.
I should
Ooh,
what?
Thursday.
Come to Thursday.
Ooh, maybe. But I'm looking very forward to the beginning of baseball season and to hang out with friends after we get over this hump of this weekend, because I think it's going to be a lot of really uninteresting wrestling. So I'm looking forward to opening day quite a bit. Let's go! Because
So,
baseball
Mom,
rules, as you know.
Still trying to figure out how I'm going to explain to Rhiannon why I have to put 3 TVs in the living room.
I mean, there's no need to explain, right? Like, we're gonna watch a lot of baseball.
Right.
Well,
because of
the Yanks go back to back, so that's good.
Right, but I think there's like a 2:00 game. There's a couple 4:00 games. I gotta see it all.
Yeah.
It's my favorite. It's my
It's the
favorite.
Mets.
It's my favorite day of the year. And last year, fucking COVID took the Mets away from me.
The association tried really hard this year, but we got it back anyway.
I got it, and I'm fucking pumped.
How long until you think you lose it on the Mets?
And the first pitch of the season. And that's it for the-
The Mets have the best winning percentage on opening day. Bet the Mets to win. And fucking DeGrom's on the mound against the shitty Nationals.
beat
So.
the Mets. Beat the Mets.
I am legitimately very excited that you have an owner that gives a shit. Like, you guys deserve that much at least.
I'm not excited for that at all.
Well, you
Until they
shouldn't
don't
be.
win.
You're a
Look,
Phillies fan.
Ryan,
The Philly
let
frenetic.
Let your team spend all their money on offense. No, they don't have to play defense. They'll be fine. Their bullpen. Enjoy Jeurys Familia. He is a treat, buddy. You're going to have a great time watching him.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know anything about him.
Yeah, you don't even care about baseball, really.
I'm a casual baseball fan.
Mid.
Hat on, you fraud.
Casual.
You should
Listen.
take the hat off so it looks like you're wearing the Mr. Fuji hat.
Would that work? Hold on.
I don't know. Let me see.
Ryan
Oh,
just
if-
likes the frenetic.
You got
Followed
the chair.
me up.
You,
Damn
were,
it.
Loves the
you were
front.
fine before where you were sitting. I don't know what you just
His
did.
camera moved. His
camera
camera
moves.
moves automatically. It's weird.
How do you take the hat off and now your giant head is in the way of the hat?
I don't know.
How did that hat? Siri, if you were just watching
the
on
way to do
YouTube,
it.
please. He had his hat on, right? He took his earphones off. He was sitting in a chair and his hat was on, and you could see the top of the Mr. Fuji hat, which is why I suggested it. And then he took off the hat, and the hat disappeared. Mr. Fuji's hat is gone forever.
The camera moved. It has like an autofocus feature.
Well, fix it.
No, now I have my hat on the right way.
Oh, good for you, Rob Humphreys, a Giants fan. I never know what to expect. I think you're gonna.
You've had some wins.
You know,
By
that
the way-
applies. That could apply to both the baseball and football team.
The football
Mhm.
team's.
I just want to point something out. So Kate's rant last week got a lot of views when she cut it. And my favorite part of that is that I'm wearing my hat like this during all that, and no one will have the context of why I look insane, and I'm very happy about that.
That's good.
And like asleep. You went to sleep during my rant.
We all did. It's okay.
What was
We've
I
heard it
doing?
before.
I don't know, probably nodding along like we've heard Kate say this every week for an entire year. Yeah.
I just let you get. I don't want to talk when you're going off. I just gotta let it happen.
You don't have to close your eyes. Jeez.
My eyes weren't closed. They were like
not-
this.
You looked a little
You
stoned.
look like you're sleeping right there.
It's funny because they're not even like I could see fine.
It also
I need new
doesn't help
glasses,
that I
by
see
the
the
way.
glare through your glasses.
Oh yeah, that's really great.
great.
So,
Ryan's looking at
Ryan, how are you
pornography.
doing?
I'm good. I'm real good. I
Sounds
don't have
good.
base. Yeah, I don't have the exciting baseball season to look forward to. I mean, like I said, I'm casual. I'll watch a Phillies game if it's on, but I don't put 3 TVs up. I have no excitement for anything but the ROH Supercard of Honor this weekend.
All right.
So that's really. I am curious. I'm not going to watch, but I am curious about the Stone Cold segment and if Cody Rhodes is Seth Rollins' opponent, which if it's anyone but him, it's a massive failure. But I'm not going to watch to find out. I'm just very curious.
Yeah, if it's Shane McMahon, people are gonna lose their fucking minds.
Honest to God, it'd be the funniest thing in the world.
Oh my God, hysterical! It would be the WWE.
Yeah.
Well,
Here's
my
the
goal to
money out the door. There goes the money.
Right. I think maybe we'll get into this when we talk about Dynamite tonight. Like expectations in AEW are high, but I think Tony Khan delivers for the most part.
He doesn't. Tony
Just-
Khan, other than his talking about women in press conferences, there's not unforced error with him. Like, he won't hype something up just to let you down for the most part. Like, he doesn't go
He doesn't
out of
troll
his
you.
way. Yeah. Like, if he is making a big deal about something, something's a big deal. So people might feel like a surprise falls a little short, but it's never like a huge fall down.
Like, my joke tonight was that it should have been Brandy, not Toni Storm. Kate was not happy with that. But that would have been a WWE move to bring back.
I would have fallen out of my chair if that happened. I would like a maniac. But then there's the it's like, and maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm too old, maybe I just don't understand, maybe it's because I don't watch the fucking show, but when it's like people get all up in arms, Cody's going like, but it's WWE, right? So like, he could show up and in 4 weeks he could be fucking Toni Storm is having goddamn fucking cream pie fights or some stupid cupcake bullshit before, like, he could be chasing is the 24/7 thing, is that still a thing?
Well, there's 2 marriages there.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, what?
2 engagements.
Yeah. Oh, I'm done. I'm done with that. Right, so
Listen,
look, if you enjoy professional wrestling and you're going to watch WrestleMania, have fun, enjoy it. I just think you might be a little on the spectrum.
There are some people that are completionists. There are some people who want to watch everything, and those people very well may be on the spectrum because, like, there's a lot out there right now. But there's people that want to see everything, and there's also people like Ryan and Danny. Like, there are people who will sit through things that they don't like to sit and watch. Edge versus AJ is probably going to be great in the ring, right? Like, there will be some good things in the ring, and some people are happy just to scratch that itch and call it a day. Like, some people sit down to specifically enjoy something. This is what I've learned about doing 9 million fucking podcasts. There are people
if
that
Mania was one night, I'd watch.
That's
the fact
fair.
that they're rolling 2 nights is fucking ridiculous.
Oh, how about matinee wrestling for NXT? Because I'm doing Stand and Deliver at 11 in the morning or whatever the fuck. Like, that's just unfair to your performers. Never mind the attendees that are going to be there for 12 hours. Like, that's insane. So, it's too much.
I want to say this. At what point, because I've heard a lot of people say, it's got to get better. So I'm like watching, like waiting for it to like, turn the corner. At what point do you give up? Because like I gave up. I was like, this isn't going to get better. I'm not going to watch anymore. Like, how long can you go on?
I don't think it's going to get better until they sell. Like, I do think they're going to sell to Disney in the next 2 years would be my guess. And maybe then it'll get better. But they don't have to care because in the past 3 years or whatever, they have $1 billion from Peacock, and the Saudi Arabia deal is $500 million. So they don't have to care about the product because that's not where their money is coming in. So they don't give a shit. I think if the sale happens, things will change then. I give up the second Sean stops paying me. Like, I don't give a shit about pretty much anything that I'm watching on WWE right now. But it does go in cycles. I just feel like everybody told me when I started watching in 2009 that it was the worst the product's ever been. And I, since then, have become a smarter fan. But I think this is way, way worse. And I think most people agree with that too. Like, that, like, did I ever want to see CM Punk versus Kevin Nash? No. But did I want to see what CM Punk had to say? Yes. And here's the thing. WrestleMania is 2 nights and 17 matches. The US title and the Intercontinental title are not on the show. So, like, there's just no mid-card at all. And I always feel like the mid-card is something that I liked in WWE because I felt like those were the guys I actually wanted to see were there more often than not. Like, I like Dolph Ziggler, right? So, like, it's just hard to justify having seen every combination of the championship matches before and having no mid-card titles on there. Like Finn Balor's not on WrestleMania, but Logan Paul is. So it's it's not good.
That was actually going to be my point, Kate. When you care more about putting celebrities into your product for a night than you do actually putting guys who, sweat and bleed for your product, then your fucking priorities are backwards.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say the same thing if AEW did it at Double or Nothing or All Out, right? Like, I wouldn't give two fucks about Bad Bunny or Johnny Knoxville or Pat McAfee or whoever you just said. What's his face? Logan Paul.
Logan Paul. The thing with Pat McAfee is he's actually quite good.
But Kate, I don't give a fuck. He doesn't wrestle on a regular basis. Like, why? You have guys like Finn Balor who wrestle.
Yeah.
He's not on the show.
Well, I think a lot of people would argue that Pat McAfee should be. So that's the only reason I kind of balked at that was I think he's an exception where it's like his value is being underutilized on the announce table because he does get it and he's pretty good in the ring from what we saw. But like, yeah, I agree with you. I wasn't excited about Shaq, but then they did something really cool with Shaq and it was a short-term program and it wasn't on a pay-per-view, right? So I agree with you. And the fact that it's 2 nights makes that just even more egregious. Like the fact that Finn Balor is not on the show when you have 2 nights and 17 matches is absurd.
And don't forget all the performances.
Oh yeah.
You got it's look, if you go back,
it's spectacle now. They're selling the show, not the card.
And the show sells itself, and it has forever. You go back and you watch Survivor Series from 1988, and they're telling you WrestleMania tickets go on sale this week, and at the Royal Rumble they're announcing where it's going to be. But now it's just, I understand it's WrestleMania. It is the biggest wrestling event of the year. But here's things I hate. I hate WrestleMania moments. I don't think everyone has to have a goddamn WrestleMania moment because it doesn't feel organic. It feels forced.
Yeah.
When you tell me 4 weeks ago that the women's tag title is going to be Team A versus Team B, and now we're 2 days out and there's fucking 4 tag teams in there. Tell me a story between Team A and why do we have to shoehorn all these fucking people onto these cards? It's disgusting. Someone invited me over for WrestleMania Sunday, and I was like, I got to work all day, and I really do appreciate the offer. I'm not interested. He's like, well, Stone Cold's coming back. I'm like, he's going to fucking stunner Kevin Owens. Like, he's not going to wrestle a match. I get it. I get why people are excited for it. I'm not one of those people. I'm more excited to watch Zack Sabre Jr. wrestle fucking Naito. And if that makes me some smarty pants fucking wrestling mark or whatever you want to call me, so be it. But the WWE is just so...
It's sterile. It's so sterile and gross. Like
I'm going to be interested in seeing how many tickets they sell at the movie theaters. They're putting it in movie theaters now.
Yeah, and they're doing it at Dave & Buster's too. That's like a new thing. It'll be a Dave & Buster's going forward, all these pay-per-views.
Oh my God.
Well, that I feel like is actually on the business side a very smart thing.
It's just, like I watched Dynamite tonight and I thought Dynamite just flowed. Like this might have been, and I don't get the opportunity to watch a Dynamite from start to finish. I felt like this was the best Dynamite I've seen in a while. I felt like it just flowed. Fucking Raw was on at the gym the other night when I went Monday night after the podcast. I was on the elliptical for 35 minutes. I saw the end of a Happy Corbin Madcap Moss match. And then for the next 30 minutes, I saw 2-3 tag team entrances and maybe 4 minutes of a match between the fucking commercial breaks. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Matt, there were 15 SmackDown talents on the Raw Go Home to Mania. 15.
That's why I
sense.
just
doesn't.
I want to watch AEW. I enjoy AEW. I enjoy Impact and the NWA and New Japan. I'm good with the WWE.
I'm trying to cheer you up by making the hat, but I can't really get it to look right.
It looks good. It looks like
just stay like that all night. Don't move, Ryan.
You look like Steve Austin after the '97 SummerSlam.
Oh no!
You're good.
Matt, back to your point about the expectations in AEW. I read a quick article on SI about they had some details around the sale of Ring of Honor, and there weren't a lot of firm details like numbers or things like that, but they did say that they had two plans for the March 2nd Dynamite, because the first plan was to announce the sale, but they didn't think it was going to go through. So there was a backup plan and a changed card. There were two cards they drew up for the night because they weren't obviously going to lead with a massive announcement if there was no massive announcement. So they had a backup plan, and apparently he still got it in his pocket, and he's planning to share it at some point. But I think that's why sometimes when you look at the expectations between the two, back to your point, like one place decides to actually write up multiple outs, and the other place just is like, fuck it, we're going with our original plan, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Well, WWE also books heat on themselves and not characters. Like the Cody shit is because they have been heavily hinting that Cody is going to show up every week. In Jacksonville, that would have made perfect sense. In Chicago, where All Out started, that would have made perfect sense. They will book heat on themselves as opposed to like telling a story that gets heat booked onto a character. So Seth Rollins, God bless him. God bless that guy, has been trying his best with what they've given him. But people aren't mad at Seth Rollins. They're not angry at Seth Rollins. They're mad at WWE, where I think AEW tries not to book heat on themselves. I think AEW tries to book heat on characters. And even when there's been an underwhelming surprise, like I don't think it ever outweighed anything that Tony Khan had suggested. Like, I don't think Christian isn't a Hall of Fame caliber talent. Everybody was just wondering if it was going to be at that point Brock or Punk, right? So even so, it's almost like on the shoulders of the fans and not on Tony Khan, because it's like he didn't say anything that's not true. We just all decided to interpret it. And quite frankly, I know I was like such a Punk dork, but like there's a lot of us that Punk surprise was going to be it. That was going to be the end all be all. So every time there was hype around it, people wanted it to be him. And we finally got that. So I think that's basically it, is WWE books it onto themselves. And Tony Khan, even when it feels like overkill, it's never so far out of the ballpark that he has done a disservice to fans like that. But that's just me.
I also think wrestling fans as a whole need to
Calm down.
Take, but like I understand the excitement, right? Like Kate watched Revolution with me at my house, and I was like, holy shit, like New Japan's in the States. It could be Okada. Like, but I was not upset that it was Christian. Like you need to tone back your expectations, and you need to stop. Like, Christian Cage is a great fucking signing. He's an unbelievable person to have there, especially if you're trying to build your company with all these fucking young guys. Like, look, it would have been great if it was Okada or if it was Punk, or I can't even believe Brock's name was floated out there, but whatever, that would have been weird. But like, that's one of those things, like, take back the expectations, people. Like,
and there's some people that Christian is a bigger deal to that have never heard of Okada, just because, like, I don't think that's true for most AEW fans, but you also have to understand, I think, that your expectations might be, there's a lot of people, I'm so glad Jay White was there, Matt, that didn't give, like, they don't know who Jay White is. They don't care. Whatever.
They're lost.
Like, yeah.
They're smart. The smart fans.
Oh, boy.
It is, but like, because the smart ones are so vocal, I think people forget that there's a lot of people that maybe don't take it as seriously as a bunch of nerds that are doing a podcast at 11 o'clock at night just getting into talking about wrestling. You know what I mean? So, and that's something a business person has to think about across the board.
I just want to make one comment here, and Matt saying fans need to come back. One thing they could all do is be more like Matt, in the sense of, like, yes, I shit on Jay White, but Matt was legitimately excited about Jay White, told me who he was, so it got me excited about Jay White. Instead of gatekeeping and be like, you don't know this guy, so hate him, just be like, if you show your excitement and share your excitement, chances are other people are going to get really excited too. So they just need to back off of that. Like, oh, you don't know who Jay White is? No, I don't. Go tell me. I'm
Yeah.
willing to learn.
Teach me. Well, and it's easy. Here we go. Back to my magazines, right? On the back of a PWI magazine, it was like extreme Japanese wrestling, never seen in the States. This was from like the 80s. You get $60 for a fucking VHS tape. And there's nothing extra. It's like Dick Murdoch's on there, Terry Funk's on there. Like, man, fucking 35 years ago, like if you wanted to see a fucking Fujinami match, bro, you had to find somebody who had a tape that's probably been fucking copied a billion times and just hope that you could get, you want to see Masawa Kawada? You better hope you know somebody that has that shit on tape. Like now it's like, to Ryan's point, you don't know who Jay White is? I'll give you 5 Jay White matches to watch. Check it out. You don't know who Toni Storm is tonight? I thought they did a great job, and we'll get into it, putting over her Stardom stuff. She was a fucking megastar in Stardom, and even NXT UK. She was fucking phenomenal. Ryan's looking great with his new hat.
I got it better this time.
Don't move.
This is really uncomfortable.
Now, like if you see somebody and you're not familiar with them, just fucking throw it in the Google machine, hit the videos button, and you get fucking 10 matches right off the bat. And you can decide if you fucking like or hate this person. Not listen to all the fucking dorks on fucking Twitter, you miserable cocksuckers. They're the fucking they're miserable about everything. Yeah. Who's got time for that?
Well, that goes two ways, right? Because I feel like Hook no-sold one spot once and everyone was like, it's the end of the world. But then you also get things like Suzuki's theme, right? And everybody, like, the Suzuki incident thing was so much fun. Like, it's fun if you don't take it so fucking seriously all the time. Like, you want to get up in arms, cool. But, like, keep in mind that it's wrestling. Nobody's gonna live or die by it.
It's men in spandex play fighting. At the end of the day, that's all it is.
Your minimum buy-in is that everybody who works here would rather beat the shit out of each other than just quit their job and go get a new one. That's the minimum barrier you have to buy into this. Like, relax.
And look, if you're invested, if you're passionate about it, I get it. But at the same time, like, at the end of the day, like, Cody showing up on Raw or not, or he shows up fucking Ring of Honor or the fucking Moon, whatever. At the end of Cody Rhodes ain't paying your fucking bills, bro. Fucking relax. Take a deep breath. You don't need to go on fucking Twitter to say all these nasty, mean things to fucking people just because you're behind. Stop. I want to hug you. It's gonna be okay.
No, you don't.
You're right. I probably don't, but I'd like a virtual hug or like pay someone to go to their house and hug them. There's a service.
Like prostitute.
See Matt at a show. Come
just
say hi and give him a big ole hug.
Don't even say hi. Just hug him.
Don't fucking touch me.
Don't even bother with.
Well, that changed quickly.
I don't want to be touched.
You just said I want to hug you.
I want to hug the Miz. Someone who like sits alone and is like angry at the world, and he's like, Kate's like, I like Danhausen. They're like, you're a fucking mark for fucking Danhausen, and your bangs are stupid, and you work for Fightful, and I hate your guts. And it's like, what?
All that's true. I mean, but it's all true. It's all based in reality.
How dare you say that about my bangs? Everything else is fine. But how dare you say that about my bangs?
What are you so mad at a stranger for?
Well, but sometimes it is. Sometimes it's fueled by the guys in spandex. I mean, people see what's said and they go out and they run with it. I mean, listen, Rollins was just on a Sports Illustrated podcast, and he's talking about how what AEW does is lowbrow and work, tacky, and desperate, And while I agree with some of the things he said that they haven't surpassed, AEW hasn't surpassed the WWE, I agree with that. From a metric standpoint, from ratings or buys, yes, he's right. They haven't surpassed them. But when you look at the stories that are being told and the quality of the product, he is far away.
He's facing Cody at Mania. He was working.
I don't think so, Kate.
Okay.
I don't think so.
It's also WrestleMania weekend, and he's going to anything to get a reaction.
Sure, but my whole point is that will be taken by the Twitter trolls and ran with,
Oh,
and it
yeah.
will be fuel for the hate.
The
Why?
tribalism shit is amazing to me. Like, even today when I said anything about the women's division, like there are some people that I just can't say a bad word about AEW, or they will just go berserk. And same with WWE. It's both sides. But it's just hilarious. Like, even when I say, like, this is mostly really great, I just wish they had done this, that, and the other. They're like, well, Tony Khan's not clueless. Blah, 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 blah. I'm just like, bro, I never said you couldn't have your opinion. And that shit swings both ways. Because I'll say the exact same thing about something in WWE, and they're like, yeah, fuck that place. And I'm like, the same thing is happening on Wednesday nights, too.
We've been critical of AEW here. We've been very critical of their women's division and the way they've handled a lot of stuff. Like, we are not, everything is great because it's AEW. I feel like we're pretty fair about what sucks. And if you need to see what sucks, check out last week's episode when Kate goes on a 45-minute rant about the women's division for the 10th time. I mean, we're critical here. I mean, we can be critical and still be fans, but listen,
Danhausen would have been so mad. I swore so much.
The only credit I'm going to give fans, the wrestling fans, and I'm not really giving them credit, mind you, is that this is fandom in general. It happens across anything. You go to sports, go to entertainment. As soon as someone becomes really passionate about it, they make that fandom define their personality. And as soon as you do that, as soon as you make it personal, and this is who I am a fan of this, then any assault on that thing, you view as an assault on you. And buddy, that's just not true. An assault on WWE, like, it's not the same thing. You can hate WWE. You could be the biggest WWE fan in the world. If I say WWE does something dumb, I'm not insulting you. I'm criticizing a company. And chances are we're not taking low shots. We're not being mean about it. You're just making a comment. Like, it's okay, guys. Relax.
No, I am. It's extremely personal with me and first name bunch of numbers on Twitter.
I will say, I think
egg profile photo.
I think the pandemic has definitely heightened, like in the restaurant industry, like, people just don't know how to, like, it sounds crazy because I never stopped working, right? But there's people who didn't leave their house for fucking months and they didn't talk to people. So people come out now, they don't know how to talk to people. They don't know how to interact. It's like riding a fucking bicycle again. Some people are just flat out fucking rude. Yeah. And you kind of have to give them the benefit of the doubt because, like, you've probably been inside for like 18 months. It doesn't give you the right to be a complete fucking douchebag, but I get it. But you need to, like, take a fucking breath, bro. Everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah, we're gonna have a couple year reset, I think, where, like, people have to learn to be people again.
Not that fucking hard.
That's right now.
It never gets better.
Hey, Ant, how are you doing?
I'm fine.
Because I got Kate, I got Ryan. We're all over the place. People are loving it.
We are.
Asian Joe was over here. He said something really good. He said this segment went all sorts of places. Bowling, trading cards, WWE talk, collectibles, etc. This is why I love this podcast. Thank you, Asian Joe. Now we're going to catch up with Ant Money. Then we're going to talk about All Elite Wrestling, Dynamite.
But we're also going to do a commercial break, right? Because I got to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. I thought the figure talk was like your bathroom break.
Oh, I'm going to start using it that way. That's a good thought. But I don't want to go now because I want to know how my friend Ant is doing.
Good. A lot of work. I'll tell you guys about that off air. But a lot of work. I saw
work.
I think I saw my second movie in a week over the weekend. Went to see another movie. So last week, I think I said I saw The Batman.
There you go.
I finally saw that.
I thought it was very good. But I did see a movie called X with Mrs. Money over the weekend.
About DMX?
No. It was I guess it was a horror movie about this group in Texas in the 70s. I guess this guy's a strip club owner. He feels like the best way we can get a quick buck is to make our own like porno movie. So they go to this like ranch where they rent a house and do this, but then all sorts of fucked up shit starts to happen. So it was pretty interesting. It was very much like almost like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Thought it was pretty good.
Is it based
I've
on?
I've seen the trailers for that.
It's not based on a true
The
story.
film is loosely based on a true story.
Yeah, somebody went to a house in Texas once to fill a porn. After that, totally made up.
Yeah. Somebody in Texas rented a house once. That's it.
This told me Project X, not X. I'm sorry.
Stupid.
Project X is when those kids started that party at that house.
I wanted to hear about the murder.
No, it's not really a murder.
You really do think it's like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie until like they start showing the other stuff. But at first, it has the same vibe.
It is the movie I just saw, X. It does, Ryan, have a Texas Chainsaw Massacre version, like look and feel to it, like that, right? Like the way it's shot, it sort of looks like 70s, film and stuff like that. So it was pretty cool. And then really, I don't have anything else to talk about beyond that. I don't do 8 hours of podcasts a week. This is it. Just 3 hours once a week.
Smart.
Yeah.
How's that request for opening day looking, buddy?
Oh, it's approved. It's just a matter of if I can get through enough work to be able to watch baseball all day. But I have the day.
You can bring your work with you. I'll have peanuts, popcorn, and Cracker Jacks.
Now, are the peanuts in the shells? Can I just throw them on your floor?
I don't care if I ever
In the
get...
shells. What kind of fucking fraud do you think? Of course they're in the shells.
Okay, so as long as I
Get
can throw them on your
pistachios.
floor, then we're good.
I prefer you didn't, but if you have to, you have to. I got a broom. It's fine.
That's what I'm going to do. So
I
roll
have
that
a
carpet up.
question.
Yes,
All right.
Kate.
If it's nice out, are we gonna watch on the porch?
Oh
Or
yeah.
even outside? That could be fun.
All right.
Matt
We
has a
could play
nice
fun.
Matt has a nice setup for those of y'all.
We did get a projector for Christmas.
Ooh.
I don't know if
Maybe set up a batting cage. Oh,
I don't know if
Yeah,
I'm
can we
allowed-
set up a batting cage?
I have to go to the batting cage. I got asked. So Baby Money's playing T-ball this year. So I've never been on the parent side of it, but apparently you have to volunteer your time, so you don't have to pay so many of the fees.
Oh,
So, like last weekend, I did 3 hours of raking fields. Yeah, that was cool. But I did
I
need.
thought you just meant they were gonna do the thing that my dad always got suckered into, which is like, you're an assistant coach now, or you're the
Oh, they're-
umpire today.
They're still working on that, but I might not be able to do that all season. So they're like, if you do 3 hours of volunteer time, you meet your criteria. You don't have to. So I did my 3 hours, one shot. I'm on the list.
My God,
But
where are you? In
I did meet
prison?
somebody. I did meet somebody there because I asked, because we've been here for years, but we haven't really been out and about, like interacting in town, because now we got a kid, so we're interacting with other people. And I was just like, there's no rec league in this town or anything, is there? Because I used to play softball. I like playing softball. And somebody was like, no, but I play for a team. And I was like, if you need a guy, like, I'll certainly play. And he called me yesterday or texted me and was like, "Do you still interested?" I said, "Yeah." And then I was like, "Fuck, I should go to a batting cage." I haven't swung a bat in a couple of years, but
look, you show up early on Thursday. We'll go right across the field, brother. I'll throw you right on the fucking field. They got baseball over there.
You know what, Matt? What I really have to do? I have to pitch. I have to find
I'll fucking take some swings. I got some softball bats in the basement.
I hope you're fielding the balls as well, because
I'll do whatever you want, buddy. I can get my steps in that day anyway. So
A lot of
We'll
ball and head talk today.
balls, boxes, heads.
Battlestar Galactica.
There you go.
boom.
So yeah, I've been good.
All right, that's what I like to hear. Did any of y'all catch that Rampage Friday night?
I did. I did.
I
don't know what I did Friday night.
The Rampage.
Well, I could tell you this, Matt. I can
Oh,
tell you
I
this.
was up at 5:00 in the morning Friday. That's why I didn't watch Rampage.
Oh. Well, I can tell you this. We had Dustin Rhodes and Lance Archer, and Dustin Rhodes actually wound up beating Lance Archer.
What a bunch of bullshit.
Then he got his ass handed to him after the match.
All right, he won the battle, but he didn't win the war.
That's
Texas,
right.
Bo. Texas.
We had Fuego del Sol for some reason in the ring with a mic.
Yeah,
and
don't
then
get
he
me
got
started.
his ass.
I got a lot. I got fucking issues with it. Why is he teaming with the fucking Dark Order on Friday night?
Because
Well,
you didn't watch Rampage. You don't
Yeah.
know. If you had watched Rampage, you would know.
He's not in the Dark Order. He's just being a fucking hanger-on. Fucking hanger-ons.
They're not re-signing Marco, so they have to have somebody in that role now, and that role belongs to Fuego del Sol.
Yeah.
As long as he doesn't fucking, I'm not
Yo, him getting his ass beat was good though.
It was by the House of Black. It was great.
House of Black fucking destroyed him.
They did. So that was a cool segment. There was a Lambert. We're not going to talk about that. Red Dragon. What?
That's your guy.
It's not my guy.
I heard you're a big Dan Lambert fan.
Red Dragon defeated the Dark Order, 5 and dime. We also had Nyla Rose defeat Maddie Rankowski pretty quickly. And what I thought was maybe the best thing they've done since the Jericho Appreciation Society. On commentary, Jericho said, and Nyla Rose is my sports entertainer of the week. And they had like a logo they pulled up for it. It was fucking great.
It rules, and he keeps going, that's entertainment.
Yes.
I have been living for that.
It was so fucking great. Then we had Hook get his QT Marshall certificate of accomplishment, to which he did not care for that. Aaron Solo got put through the certificate glass. And then Danhausen, for some inexplainable reason, I love Danhausen, but he should have known. He tried to curse Hook, and the curse did not really take. Hook was not phased. He just walked off. Danhausen was in shock. He should not have tried that.
I mean, did you really think you could curse Hook, Danhausen? Come on, those
I
Canadians.
don't understand it.
Has he ever been unable to curse someone before, though?
Well, see, if you guys watched AEW Unrestricted, he explained it. He goes, I just tell someone they're cursed, and most of the time it works. I don't understand it, but I just keep doing it. So I don't think he actually knows. It was really funny when it didn't work. His reaction of like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, it was a good reaction, but
great. Like he's so good at all of this already. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
He's the next pillars.
Have you had a chance to watch that RJ City thing that he does?
Yes.
That's fucking hysterical.
The two of them were on RJ City's just like Coffee with Whatever show. And that was kind of the first one that I think went viral for RJ City. And so they had them back, and the two of them in the same room are just like so funny.
But even RJ City with TK or Mark Henry has been really funny.
Yeah, he's really funny.
I told Kate I have not been the biggest RJ City fan.
I love him.
This made me think he's hilarious.
Oh, hey you. It's fucking
RJ City and Eddie Kingston was also the best.
Matt, it's Hey EW.
It's hysterical. It's the fucking best funny. Honestly, Anthony, if you haven't watched, it's the best 5 minutes of your day.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I gotta do some work after this. I'll check it out.
Gold.
And then we had our main event on Friday night: Ricky Starks and Swerve for the FTW belt. And
say it, Anthony.
Whose house?
Oh, well, Swerve's
house.
But you didn't say it's time for.
Oh, sorry. I do that for Dynamite because we're like going through the card, but it was time for the main event.
Thank you.
Ricky Starks wound up defeating Swerve Strickland. A little bit of shenanigans with Powerhouse. I'm sorry, Powerhouse Hobbs got involved, and then after the match, Keith Lee showed up to beat down some of Ricky's entourage who happened to be there cheering him on. And then there was a big melee between Starks and Swerve and Keith Lee and Powerhouse Hobbs. So we're lining up things for the next week. But I thought it was an entertaining show. For the first half, I didn't really pay too much attention because I was on the phone at the same time. But I thought it was a fun episode of Rampage. I mean, I believe Rampage and SmackDown both got spanked by basketball this week again. So the ratings weren't great. But it was a fun show if you could check it out.
That main event humped.
Yeah, it was a really fantastic match.
It was
it's funny. I wasn't I wasn't sure how I felt about it, and then I think it was someone on Kate's. It might have been Kate or her co-host Sean who said it on Fight Club, but getting his it wasn't Sean, it was Ben Alex who getting Swerve's first loss out of the way isn't a bad thing because you don't want him to be another guy. It's like, oh, he's undefeated. What's going to happen? Like, that's gone. Now he can just be in normal stories. You don't have this. I'm not saying the way they did it still protects him, but how many guys can you, like, if you bring a guy in and he goes undefeated for a while, you start to limit where you want him to go next.
Well, and he also
I don't
lost.
like people losing in a debut though that much.
He didn't debut though.
No, this was
That was
Oh,
his
okay,
second
but
match.
like his second match is still like that feels kind of early, but I think people already know and like Swerve, so it's not like super damaging.
But he also didn't lose clean, right? There was some shenanigans involved, so it's not as egregious as him losing clean. Kate, I'm sure, didn't want this to be said. She went to pee. She had to pee so bad. So Kate went to pee. But we are going to, I think, step aside for just a second anyway, since we're through our Rampage recap. As we said, check it out if you can. The main event was great. I think, Matt, you had a few words you wanted to say.
I always have many words that I want to say, but if you're listening to the Mark Order podcast, know that it is available on the Shining Wizards Network, home to a variety of shows, wrestling, metal, pop culture, 80s and 90s. So head over to shiningwizardsnetwork.com, home of course, the Shining Wizards Wrestling podcast that I am part of every Monday night. Our latest episode is available. Something Alex Coughlin. We had the opportunity to talk with Alex Coughlin from New Japan Pro Wrestling. He's out there in the LA dojo. He's one of the big four with Carl Fredericks, Clark Connors, and Gabriel Kidd. We had a great talk with him. We also talked some WrestleMania and had a really nice conversation about Triple H and if he is a top 10, 15, or 20, in our opinion, in the history of the WWF, WWE. And then we did a great down the aisle, which if you're not familiar with the Shining Wizards, I pick a random show live on the air, and I just go down the card, and we see where it takes us. And it took us all over the place. It started with Evil Snack, and it ended with the Pitbulls. So definitely check it out, the Shining Wizards Wrestling Podcast, over there on the Shining Wizards Network. The Inconclusive Breakdown, they are a pop culture podcast. Their latest episode, Game Over, is available. They talk Ukraine, Triple H, Trump, Biden, Taylor Hawkins, so much more. They have a top 10 movie quotes, and they answer your questions, so check them out. The Turnbuckle Throwbacks latest episode is up there. They talk a little bit of wrestling, and then they also go all the way back to WrestleMania 18 from 2002. So they're going to talk about Icon versus Icon 20 years later. Another wrestling podcast on the network, The Ringside Rant. He has been building up, if you've been listening to his show, to WrestleMania 13. We are finally there. We talked about this last week because it was the anniversary of WrestleMania 13. Bret Hart, Steve Austin, Sid Undertaker, your main event. They're going to cover it all over there on The Ringside Rant, episode 152. So check that out. For all you heavy metal fans out there, Radioactive Metal, their latest episode is available, episode 693. I think they're the only other podcast on the network that has been around longer than the Shining Wizards. Snowy and the crew up there, they talk all things heavy metal, do's and don'ts on everyone's concert schedule, hits full stride. They're doing Thin Lizzy Day, because apparently that's a thing up there, and they play some tunes. So definitely check those guys out. And they spotlight Idol of Fear, which is a band in their indie spotlight. So horns up and stay healthy. He also does another podcast, Wrestling Night in Canada. So check that out. All available exclusively on the Shining Wizards Network. So head over there to the Shining Wizards Network and check out the ShiningWizardsNetwork.com. Whoa, I don't like that. There we go. That's better. All right.
Yeah.
Why are there two of you? Did you freeze?
I don't know. It froze in my Chrome closed, so I had to jump back in. Sorry. So I'm a little disheveled, but I'm stopping our music.
No worries.
So Matt,
Yes.
while we're waiting for the other Misfits to return, I did want to mention to people, if they're following us on social, Matt, people can get free stickers.
I don't know if you've checked the the email. There's a lot of requests, my friend.
There are. I'm gonna for anybody listening who's requested stickers. I'm a little behind because I had to do some things over the weekend, so I'm gonna do them tonight. They'll be in the mail tomorrow, and you'll get them. Also, I think there's a few people who've requested a few times, so we're gonna let those duplicates sit, so we can get the other people through their first requests. But we'll hit you guys up who requested some additional stickers eventually. I want to make sure we get them to everybody because, I didn't order like 8,000 stickers. But anyway, if you do want stickers, please hit us up on our socials. Just go to our link tree. There's a button right at the top to request free stickers. And you can just send us your name, your address, the country you live in, and then I will mail them out. You just send that address, Kate. I do the rest.
You do the rest, buddy. Except you guys, all you have to do is pay shipping. The rest.
No.
What?
Fake news, Kate. Don't be spreading that fake news. You just send me your address. I take care of the shipping anywhere in the world. I'll send them out. You can get a couple of these stickers, these V1 and these brand new V2 round stickers. I'll send you a couple of them in the mail. Nice little note to accompany that.
The Mark Order ones, like they're kicks.
Right. Mark Order V1s, and then we got the V2s. So Matt was saying, Kate, I don't know if you heard, we have quite a few requests that came in. I'm going to send them out tomorrow, so keep your eyes peeled. And I was saying, Kate, there's a couple people who I think have made duplicate requests. We're going to hold on those for a little bit. We got to make sure everybody gets some of their stickers first because I don't want to run out of these things.
Hell yeah. Rob Humphrey asking if he can just come by your house and pick them up, which...
No.
Yes, of course.
No. Nope.
Mrs. Money will give you the address in the chat.
No. If I know Mrs. Money, she's asleep by now, so she's probably not in the chat. And that's why I'm also going to get a P.O. box at some point, so I don't have to put my address on it. But yes, so thank you to everybody who's requested. I'm sorry it took so long to get them out, but we'll get them out tomorrow, and you'll have your stickers. So thank you for the support. Well, guys, Matt's gone. So we get to do whatever we want now.
We get to freestyle?
Freestyle faux show. Let's hope this works now because it froze me before. It did work, guys. I didn't think there were going to be rankings, but they gave us rankings. Let's run through the rankings real quick because then we're going to get to what everybody wants to talk about, Dynamite. So in the men's division, our champion, Hangman Adam Page, TNT champ, Scorpio Sky. Number one ranked male, Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara. Then Adam Cole.
Baby.
Thank you. Followed by the Murder Hawk Lance Archer. Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks. These are some odd rankings.
Yeah, especially because sometimes when you drop the belt, you sometimes go to the bottom, and you also might just be number one ranked.
Right. Well, I mean, his record says one thing, right? I know he lost. He is certainly not in line for a world championship title, but he certainly wants that TNT title back. And after seeing what him and Tay did to it, boy, oh boy, I get why he wants it back.
I just why isn't Phil in here?
Well, Phil,
why isn't Danielson in here?
We'll talk about CM Pants. We'll get there.
I don't know why it always makes me laugh when you call him CM Pants, but it does.
It works. I'll take it. Tag division, our champs are Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, followed by the Gun Club at number 1, Top Flight 2. Oh, I'm sorry. I misspoke. Ryan's giving me a look of disdain. Number 1 is the Ass Boys.
There you go.
And then, every time you say that, Danhausen gets a nickel somewhere.
A human tooth.
I mean, I'm glad that he gets it. He needs monies, human monies.
He does.
Top Flight number 2, 3, the Dark Order, Silver and Reynolds, 4, the Acclaimed. The Acclaimed, and then 5, the top guys, FTR.
Do you think FTR is gonna beat the Briscoes at Supercard?
Man, it would be amazing if they did, and then they held 2 sets of titles that weren't the AEW titles. And we can certainly talk about that because some of that came up in discussion tonight during the show. But that match can go either way, Kate. I don't think it'll be the last time we see those 2 teams wrestle each other for sure.
I'm just thinking with somebody at Warner not wanting the Briscoes anywhere near TV, maybe they go over. And I mean, what they could do for an ROH tag picture is unreal to me. Like, I feel like they could do so much for developing tag teams if ROH
Sure.
is going to pivot to being their developmental. So I was thinking about that. I was like, man, maybe it is a one-off, and maybe the Briscoes hand it to FTR, and that's it. That's the ball game.
You know, it will be interesting to see kind of what happens at the Supercard. And I know we're straying a little bit, but
Matt's not here. I'm
it's
vamping.
gonna be, what's that? You're vamping?
I'm vamping because Matt's not here yet.
Oh, I don't care about that. Don't let him know I said that. No, I it's going to be interesting either way to see what happens, how Supercard shakes out, right? Because there's so much Ring of Honor talent, but also AEW talent that it truly is their restart, right? And TK has said, well, I don't know if he said it, but I definitely saw in that SI article that Ring of Honor will continue as its own brand and will have its own show in some fashion, but nothing really more has been said about that. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out at the Supercard and then moving forward. So I do like Kate, it can go either way for me. I think it's okay if FTR won and then people who were in Ring of Honor were chasing, but I think it's really going to depend on what happens with Ring of Honor, because some of that talent is not really signed moving forward to Ring of Honor, right? They're working this show, and then it's sort of like, what's going to happen?
Yeah, a lot of it is, I think.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Let's get to our women's division. Finally, Thunder Rose is our champ. TBS champ is Jade Cargill. Number 1, Nyla Rose. 2 Deeb.
Oh, yeah.
2 Deeb, 3 Layla Hirsch, 4 Dr. Britt Baker, D, M, D. And
did I tell you I got her bobblehead?
What? You can find it. Number 5, I know Ryan usually likes to stir it up. Number 5 is Velvet. He's not stirring it up because he's not paying attention, but that's
no,
okay.
your
there he
audio
goes.
went funky.
I was just
Yeah,
sorry. My shit. I told you guys, you guys weren't here, but I was telling Matt, he's in the middle of his read, and all of a sudden, my Google Chrome goes not responding. I was like, oh motherfucker! So I had to like close it and jump back in.
Matt
So I'm not
also likes
surprised.
to do the stirred up motion.
Matt
Yes, he
loves
does.
to stir it up.
There he
motion.
goes. He's stirring it. Matt's stirring it up.
It was great to see him do it while he was trying to move his seat forward too.
So
It's like trying to do like a
you guys
situation.
saw I got a little
Where did that come
Pro
from?
Wrestling Tees or a shop AEW.
Oh, you bought
That
it.
does
You
not look like her head.
no.
Well, her head's not that big.
That doesn't even
Well,
look
I
like her
understand
face.
it's not to scale, but that does not look like her face at all.
It's number 281 of 300.
281 of 300. Wow. So Matt is 1 of 300 with that. 2
He's
of
2 of
300. Excuse me.
You
No,
got
Matt-
2 Britt Baker bobbleheads.
Yeah, I
Of
got keep one in the
course he
box.
did.
What's wrong with you?
Oh my god. It is no
Yeah.
cruise director, Mike. Thank you, Asian Joe.
It's certainly
yeah.
not. Certainly not. I can tell you though that her face does not look like her face.
Yeah, no, that's
It's pretty bad.
doesn't look like
It's
it.
not the worst. It's not the worst like face on something. Oh, there's
My
Cruise Director
best
Mike.
friend, cruise director Mike. Oh yeah, what's going on? AEW Dynamite. That's entertainment. The influencer.
It is entertainment. He's an influencer. I can't
I
wait to
don't
see
like
him.
how well you two teamed up on that.
Look, it's just a synergy with Cruise Director Mike and I.
Guys, do you want to see, since we were talking about how Britt Baker,
Do you think there's an Adam Cole one in the bobbleheads kiss?
I mean, you can make them do whatever you want, Keith. They're
Matt
your
absolutely
toys.
would make them kiss.
Matt makes them do over the clothes stuff all the time.
No. Don't be weird.
So you guys know, like we were saying, that face doesn't match. Have you guys seen Scarlet Witch, or I'm sorry, WandaVision or anything like that in the
I
Marvel
have
universe?
not.
Okay,
I
but
have.
you know what she looks like, right? You know what her face looks like,
No.
Yes.
right? Okay, Ryan, tell me if this is a figure. Tell me if this figure that was created looks like the Scarlet Witch's face. Who is it? It's one of the Olsen sisters. I can't remember which one.
It's Elizabeth Olsen.
That literally looks like my face when I shit my pants inches from the toilet.
You know, on The Office when Will Ferrell gets hit with the basketball.
That's it. That's it.
Wait. Do me a
What's it?
favor and go back to that last picture. You can even do that one. Does she have hard nipples?
Yeah, she definitely has nips.
You
Could
fucking
be.
pervert. Fuck.
Come on, there's
Listen, I don't even know how you see anything but the face.
Well, once the face is bad, I start looking for all the other flaws, and I noticed that they made a doll with hard nips, which is just insane.
This is terrible.
This
she
is
looks,
the worst face
She
sculpt.
This is
really
the
does look like she
beginning-
just farted.
This is the beginning of Shawn Michaels' eye. Like she's got they're
One
turned
is
in.
starting to go wrong.
They're gonna start to drift. How do you see this as your scan? It's terrible.
I don't.
Why
It
am I
doesn't even look
participating
like.
in figure talk? Can we move on to Dynamite?
Because this isn't really figure talk. This is like insanity.
It's the lady spooktacular.
This is terrible.
It's really bad sculpt. I don't even. I would love to know how long they worked on this.
She's a
Not
cute
long.
gal too.
Not long enough.
No, it's bad. I just figured since we were
Nobody-
talking about how bad that Britt Baker face had looked.
Yeah, some of them are not.
She didn't look like she had Down syndrome.
No, well, I'm hoping the Eddie Kingston one looks nothing like the one they posted from.
Like Bully Ray, because that's who that looks like.
Oof.
Partner, it was not good, partner.
No. All right, guys, let's talk about Dynamite tonight. 'cause it
Yeah,
was a
let's
good
do it,
episode.
buddy.
We let off with CM Punk and Max Caster. CM Shorts tonight. CM Trunks.
Sam Trunks.
Yeah, trunks, not shorts.
Baby.
Excuse
They
me.
listened
CM
last
Trunks.
week, and he was like, "They need me in the trunks. Ant needs me in the trunks." So I was texting with CM Punk, and he was like, "This one's for Ant."
See, people listen to me.
He's a good guy. That Phil.
Well,
He was like, "I ran into Matt at the post office White Castle last week, and this
That's
week
true.
I'm wearing."
Matt, any other odd dreams, or was that the last weird one?
No, that was the last weird one I had last week.
All right. Well, anytime you
now.
want to talk about your dreams and we can look up what they might mean, we could certainly do that here.
Oh, absolutely. Look, I don't hold anything back on either of the podcasts that I do.
Clearly.
so don't worry.
All right. CM Trunks versus Max Caster. CM Trunks wins by submission with that Anaconda Vice. Post match, he's getting interviewed by Tony Schiavone. And Schiavone said, "What was that thing you were doing last week? That little gesture you were making?" And he says to the crowd, "You know what that means." Before, what was that, Kate? Were you doing a different gesture?
I was doing
Oh,
a different
boy.
gesture. I was rolling dice.
Sure you were, because everybody rolls dice towards himself.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So Punk asked the crowd about the Universal Belt gesture before saying he doesn't know who's going to be the champ in about a week's time, but he knows there's a lot of gray in his beard and scars on his head, and before his time in AEW is over, he will be world champion. Kate, you're the resident CM Trunk mark. What do you think of the match and his basically his title, proclamation?
Yo, listen. I thought this match was a solid opener. The story here is mostly what happened after the match. I think Punk going for the title is going to be great. I think he's gonna dethrone Hangman and turn heel, and we're gonna get a Summer of Punk. But either way, I think that program is going to hopefully make the Adam Page haters, not even haters, but the people that think his reign has not felt significant. Hopefully this will be like a nice story to dig into. Little things that I liked in this. I really, really liked that he acknowledged that Battle of the Belts is coming up. He said, I don't know who's going to have the strap. It could be Adam Cole, or it could be, what he said, it could be looking down the barrel of some cowboy shit or something like that. Like, that was a really nice line, but I always appreciate
Staring down the barrel of a 45. Sorry.
You just gotta plow through it, Kate. Just plow through it.
I just feel so threatened that someone else is making worse puns than I am. But I always appreciate things like that when wrestlers acknowledge, like, that feels like a foregone conclusion, but, you know, either option is on the table. So I thought the promo after was great. I think the Punk heel turn is inevitable. I think he should do it as champion because he's a 43-year-old guy. Like, pull the trigger. But match was fine. I'm excited to see him go for the belts. These one-offs have been serviceable until then for Punk. I'm glad they're not like wearing out another MJF thing. Just let that move on for now. And yeah, this was a decent start to the show.
Well, to juxtapose that, Matt, you are not a huge mark for Chicago mid Punk. What did you think about the opener?
I thought it was a good opener. I have a kind of a different idea. Now hear me out here. So the opener was good. I like how we've gotten CM Punk the last 2 weeks wrestling dudes from tag teams. I think that's fun. I also like that he's winning with the Anaconda Vice, because that's pretty cool. It's something different. It kind of makes the GTS feel special when he busted out. I like the idea of him going after the title, but I also think there's other people who are going to go after that title. And I think maybe they're subconsciously setting up some kind of thing because he's winning with submissions. Maybe him and Bryan Danielson, because Danielson won with the LaBelle lock tonight, and he's a submission specialist. And at some point, I think we're going to get to the, and we'll get into it when we get to the Bryan Danielson match. Regal on commentary saying, when Excalibur said, I think he's one of the best, and Steven Regal saying, one, you mean the best. So I think the idea of him and Page is fantastic. I would love to see it, but I think there's going to be a roadblock. And if that happens to be Bryan Danielson, or maybe he brings out this kind of what Eddie Kingston brought out of Punk, but just a little more to then make that turn and have him go after Page, I would not be against that. So I think that's what I would like to see, but I like the opener. Anytime you get to see these young kids, Caster and Bowens, and them go out there and have singles matches against someone like Punk or Danielson, I think it's a home run.
High five, Kate. I'm sorry.
Do you think your next champion is MJF then? Because that's where my head goes if it's not.
I don't know. I'm interested to see how this Adam Cole, Adam Page thing plays out. And we'll get to that later too. I'm kind of all over the place. I don't want to jump ahead. I know we have a format, so I will defer to Ryan. Ryan, what did you think of this match?
Love that. Just throwing the ball away.
Well, I don't want to fuck up the flow, man.
No, it was you were fine, but it was a good match. I do want to point out Max rhymed voiceless with moistless, and that was just, I did not see that coming, so that made me laugh really hard. He obviously did the Will Smith joke, but after that, it was pretty funny. I like that it was Max and not Bowens in this match. I think Bowens is the better wrestler, but I think Max was the better for Punk for whatever reason. I think the how do I want to say this? I think Bowens versus Punk I'd feel like I wanted to see more stakes to it than I do Max versus Punk. So for me, seeing Max just take a casual loss to Punk means nothing to me. I am very interested to see where they go with Punk next, because like Matt said, you could easily go Danielson, you could go Page, you could go. 6 different ways. You could also go that Page loses the belt and then Punk feuds with him. You think Page is going to try to go for his rematch or try to get back into the championship picture, and then Punk feuds with him on the way there and screws him out of getting it back. There's a lot of stories. I like that they're finally you have to acknowledge that Punk's been kicking ass and that he'll deserve a championship shot. Otherwise, what are we doing? He does have a lot of gray in that beard, though, and as someone who's gray in the beard, I appreciate it. Yeah, I got it all. It's starting to turn
I got
white.
a lot of gray in my beard. I think it makes me look distinguished.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Fuck you, man. Come on.
No, we're gonna
Show
go
me
with
some
that.
love.
I am. We're gonna go with that.
That was crew. Sarcastic. Was that sarcastic?
That was sarcastic.
Thank you,
Come
Kate.
on.
Kate gets her usual spot on the couch for opening day.
Fine. Yeah, I thought that this was a nice opener, and I'm going to say this is the first of young talent taking the loss to veteran talent that the loss was still a great showing for Caster. I mean, we'll talk about some of these other matches coming up, but I mean, I thought Max really showed what he could do in the ring with a guy like CM Punk. So it was good for me. And I think that the post-match all made sense too, to kind of, I don't want to beat a dead horse here. There's so many different ways that this can go with the title picture. A lot of, as one person on this show has said in the past, a lot of spoons in the porridge with people wanting title shots. So there are a lot of ways that they can work through this. So I'm excited to see where it goes. But after this match, it goes backstage to MJF and FTR being interviewed. And while they're being interviewed, Smart Mark Sterling is posting photos of Wardlow on the wall because MJF doesn't want to talk about that or say his name. But basically, he's barred from the arena. And Max says that the Pinnacle's moving up and FTR are going to beat the ass boys. And Dax says he doesn't know what's going on between MJF and Wardlow, but he's friends with both of them and he's not really going to get involved. And MJF does try to say, hey, Wardlow talks shit on both you guys when you weren't around, but FTR is not really buying it. And MJF just kind of cuts to the finish and gives the Pinnacle's catchphrase because they're always on top. So we're clearly kind of lining up this Wardlow story still. But yes, Matt, I'd like your thoughts.
It's not necessarily. I feel like we never got enough of the Pinnacle for the Pinnacle to be a thing. Am I the only one that feels that way?
No, you're right. After the feuds with the Inner Circle, it just kind of was there for a couple weeks and then disappeared. They all kind of went on to do their own kind of single stuff, but they never really officially broke up, right? So it was just kind of like we thought that that's what was going on, but it never officially blew up. And I think now they're trying to kind of blow it up officially. That's what it looks like.
I think.
Oh, sorry, Kate.
Oh, I was just gonna say that I feel like Tony Khan in his head has these ideas of like things can peter out without us being so demonstrative to the audience. I know he's kind of said things like that in interviews before, where have to have some blow up, like it can just fizzle out. And then I think he found that might not be as true as he was hoping, because when you constantly have people coming to other people's defense and then nobody comes out anymore, like you can't just have that fizzle out, right? So I think now that's why we've gotten like an official Inner Circle blow up, and why you're going to get an official Pinnacle blow up as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think most people like resolution, right? Like you don't kind of like those dangling threads, right? You kind of want to pull it until the whole sweater comes undone. Huh?
If you want.
No, that wasn't a call to sing. That
sweater.
wasn't a call to sing.
The thread as I walk away.
As I walk.
Okay, so moving on from this backstage interview.
Been naked, lying on the floor. I've come undone. I wouldn't have went that far, but you muted me.
You guys wonder why it takes 4 hours to get through one show.
I don't wonder anymore.
No. Matt, were you gonna add something there? You look like you were gearing up.
It wasn't
Okay.
me. It wasn't
Okay.
me. I didn't do it this time.
Okay. All right, Shaggy. We go from this to Jay Lethal versus John Moxley. And we open up with Lethal offering a handshake, but Moxley doesn't want to shake hands. Let's cut to the end of this match. Moxley wins by pinfall with a paradigm shift. Post-match, Moxley does offer a handshake, and Lethal is upset, hesitates, but he does shake hands. So they keep doing some of this Ring of Honor stuff, right? This old school Ring of Honor, want to shake hands before the match, shake hands after the match. So it's interesting to see them kind of run that through here. They did it a couple weeks ago. We see it again tonight with some of these Ring of Honor guys. But listen, I thought this match was pretty good. Jay Lethal, another good showing, and a lot of people, to me, good showing from Jay Lethal. And I think a lot of people out there, I've seen a bunch of people saying, like, Jesus Christ, can Jay Lethal win something? But this is the second match of the night where you have a guy. Now, he's not a young talent, two veteran talents here. But in the loss, I thought Jay Lethal looked great. He put on a great match. And to me, the loss doesn't necessarily hurt him. People on TV can see what he can do. I think he's going to get a little more, time in like Ring of Honor if they allow him to spend some time there. But I thought this was a fun match. Good showing by both of these guys. Ryan, what did you think of this match?
It was a good match. I mean, listen, Lethal can wrestle regardless of his other issues. You have to acknowledge the man can wrestle in the ring. I do think he might end up being an ROH person, just because why not? You have the history there. It seems so natural. There's not as much room for him in AEW, so move him over. And so I thought this was a real good match. Obviously, I'm loving the story being developed between Mox, Danielson, and all that. So anything that furthers that. The interesting thing about the handshake afterwards was just kind of like who offered it and who almost turned it down, because if you really think about it, Lethal's the ROH guy, so he should be the handshake one. So there is a little bit of intrigue there, but overall, I mean, it was a solid match. Again, no matter how the guy has his other issues, I'm not going to get into that again. But if we're just looking at in-ring skill, the guy can wrestle. So it was an entertaining match.
Gordon Post wants to know, has Lethal ever won on TV? He's won on the Dark Elevation series.
No,
correct?
he has a TV win too, but I forget against who. It was early on.
It was probably when he came in, like his first couple matches.
Yeah.
I'm going to look that up while Kate tells us about this match.
It was fine. I don't know what Lethal is outside of a serviceable hand at this point. I think ROH would be something that's really good for him. I think they're still hesitant to push him because of the blowback of his signing when everybody was reminded of the allegations. So I think they're like putting their toe in the water, but seeing how far they can go. I don't need him in this Blackpool Combat Club thing, though. Like, I want Wheeler Yuta for sure. I don't need Lethal in it. I'm not that like intrigued by him. He puts on really solid in-ring matches, but I just like, I don't know. I don't need him doing anything more than that, in my opinion. Like, he's putting on good matches. I don't feel like he's a champion. I hate to say that about my Jersey guy, but I think ROH would be a really good place for him to go back. But he kind of talked a bunch of shit on his way out, so we'll see what happens.
Is it possible that the frustration leads to some sort of heel turn for Jay Lethal, and then he starts to, get maybe a little more violent, a little more reckless?
I don't understand why someone who people were already not rooting for isn't a heel now, but yeah, I think that could.
I mean, the crowd was pretty loud for him tonight. I mean, they were loud for both these guys. The crowd seemed into it, but
they had the dueling chants. I feel like when he came out, it was not a loud pop at all. But then when the match picked up, it definitely did. Definitely did. Also, sorry. I was just gonna say also that Bulldog choke is just such a cool move. I love seeing that finisher. And this one was great as always. It looks so violent and real. I really like that.
Kyle K. Sparks is in the same boat as me. My research shows no, Lethal has not ever won on Dynamite or Rampage, only on Dark and Elevation.
Fair enough.
He had a great match against Starks on Rampage, which felt
Maybe,
like a
yeah.
win, but he lost.
Yeah, I feel like all his television matches have been good showings. He's just not getting the win.
Yeah.
Well, I think he is a victim of changes. Obviously, you hear
changes.
You hear Ring of Honor is. I'd been more impressed if you belted out Judas Priest's victim of changes, Ryan Schlong.
Look it up.
I don't know that on off the top of my head, so I can't.
Ring of Honor was going under, or the future was uncertain. He signed with AEW on an already loaded. I mean, dude could wrestle. This match tonight was fucking dynamite. Now, here's the thing: is the handshaking thing a Ring of Honor thing, or is it whatever fucking the Foot Soldier Clan or whatever the fuck they're calling themselves? Is it their thing?
I thought their thing was slapping.
Their thing does seem more slapping, and Punk has done it. But if you think Punk is going there, that would indicate that too. I feel like they did it a ton on the pay-per-view. They did it a lot at Revolution. Everybody was shaking hands. But I think that was just because the announcement was fresh. But that's a good question. I feel like it's an old school like homage to the roots of AEW having mostly been in ROH. But I would kind of like it if it was a Blackpool Combat Club.
No, I like the slap better.
That's what I was looking for.
Well, the slap is Regal's. The slap is not anybody else's but William Regal's.
And William Smith's.
I'm sorry, Kate. He's a lord. It's Lord William Regal. Please.
Excuse me.
Actually, I thought it was Lord Stephen Regal.
Lord Stephen William Regal.
Lord William Stephen.
I know, he's the guy who's slapping the shit out of everyone.
When he was a lord, he was Lord Stephen Regal. He was a blue blood. He had Earl Robert of Eaton with him, and he had William, a.k.a. Bill Dundee, with him. He was a man's man in the WWE, and then he was Stephen Regal. Never
He's
Lord
man.
Stephen Regal. And then when he became the GM, he was William Regal.
Well, they're calling him Lord William Regal.
Well, that's farce.
Well, no, he's been lorded as William Regal. It's fine.
He was lorded as Stephen Regal.
Maybe
Well,
he's
now
doing
changes,
he's
but
been
kept
lorded
lording.
as William Regal.
It's all talk at once. It's great for the
blah,
listener.
blah, blah, blah.
I'm very passionate about my lords.
Are you?
Yes.
Would you
What's
like
your
to-
number one lord?
Oh, yeah. Good question.
Ooh.
Top five
God damn
lord.
it, you had to
Come on,
call my
man.
bluff on that
Lord
one.
Humongous.
The musician lord.
Nah, she doesn't make the list.
What?
Never seen a diamond in the flesh.
She doesn't
The
make your
episode of
list,
South
even though-
Park where
I am Lord. Yeah.
I was gonna say she doesn't make your list, even though it's really Stan's
Randy.
dad, Randy Marsh.
yeah, no, that the Randy makes the list. Lord Steven is clearly towards the top.
Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Nowhere
Well,
on there.
If you swing
The
that
Lord.
way.
If you swear.
About Lord Bishop of Blackburn.
I don't know who that is.
Julian Henderson. He's been there since 2013.
Okay.
I don't know. I didn't expect my bluff to get called. Okay.
Well, we've only got three.
Rob Humphreys. Lord Alfred Hayes.
Oh my
Come
goodness.
on, man.
Cheat if you got to.
We should have taken that one.
Oh boy.
I'd like the match. I thought it was really great.
Wait, Kevin from the Monday Night Show nailed it. Lord Zed from Power Rangers. There you go.
I don't know my Rangers.
So there's a variety of lords.
There's a lot of lords out there.
Match was fantastic. I think Lethal is a super talented dude. I guess go back to Ring. I really don't know. I would love to say he should go to Ring of Honor. Lord Voldemort, great call. Marky Mark, kayfabe. But I don't know what Ring of Honor is gonna be. You know, like, is it the lesser of two evils? Is he just gonna go there and do jobs for like, I don't know, whoever's? I don't know the future.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm pissed now.
Yeah,
That's an all-time Madism. I don't know. It's like my favorite.
that's the question with you guys were talking about FTR earlier with them in ROH. It all depends on what they want ROH to be and how separate from AEW. And like if they're going to keep it completely separate, you probably could use a guy like him in there though, because you're gonna need some established names, especially early on to get you back into this. So we'll see.
Well,
I don't know.
neither do I. It's a strong showing from both guys in this match. We do get a hype reel after this around Marina Shafir. We could talk about a little bit about Marina Shafir as the night moves on. But the next match in the night, the Ass Boys, also known as the Gun Club. I'm glad I've contributed 10 cents to the Danhausen Fund tonight, by the way.
You really have, yeah.
Versus FTR. And as we go through this match, a couple things to call out. MJF joins on commentary. FTR didn't seem to know that was happening. They were a little taken aback by that entrance. During the commentary, I also enjoyed how MJF said, don't bring up what's his name. I don't think he said his name. He said, but don't bring him up. And they were talking about Wardlow. And then somebody mentioned CM Punk. And he said, can we not mention his name ever while I'm here either? Thanks. So clearly that stuff is not all done. And then during the match, Wardlow comes into the arena and he starts to beat up security, makes his way down to the floor, and he's trying to work his way up the ramp, but security gets him and he gets taken away. So he doesn't get close to MJF tonight, but Wardlow does make an appearance. And as we get to this match, some shenanigans as Billy Gunn is trying to help out his boys. Can't get it done, though. FTR does win by pinfall with the big rig on Austin Gunn. And then post-match, MJF go to the ring. MJF goes to the ring and FTR and him kind of bicker over Wardlow. Dax is pretty much saying, Wardlow's my boy. And then, they raise hands and that's the end of that. So FTR working his faces here. As we're kind of going into the second week of face work from FTR. Is that weird to anybody? Rob Humphrey says FTR working as a face team seems weird. Is that weird for anybody else? Matt, let's go to you first. You're shaking your head no?
No, I don't think it's weird that they work as a face team. There's no, outside of Jurassic Express, who's the other face team? Right? Who's another face tag team?
Top Flight.
The Hardys. Right?
Hardys.
They just showed up though,
yeah.
We don't have a lot of face tag teams. The storyline's there, and you're catering to a fan base who fucking loves professional wrestling. And these guys fucking, after what Dax did last week with Punk, and now like this just feels like the natural course, like the breakup with MJF, like them being super, I thought them being annoyed when he came out, and then them being extra annoyed after the match with him being like, Wardlow's our boy, like too, like you got to stop it with this shit. And they like kept pushing him away, and he's like taken back by it. I liked it. I also, and I know Kate's gonna hate this, and I might hate myself for saying this. On paper, this was like, I know who's gonna win, and I don't give a shit about the Ass Boys, but I really thought they did a decent job tonight. I don't know if I'm going to wake up tomorrow and regret this. If Kate's going to send me a nasty text message at 2:00 in the morning, damn you for the ass. Look, they're not I'm not buying I'm not running the pro wrestling tees. I'm buying an Ass Boys t-shirt, but I thought they did a great job. And Billy being there helps. Cause it's like, I could do without the gunning and the pointing at the cocks, but whatever. I thought in ring, they were a serviceable tag team against FTR. I don't think they should have been ranked number 1 in the rankings, but I enjoyed the match very much.
Kate, your response?
Please don't.
I hate Matt and everything he stands for. No, I agree with him on the in-ring part. I just would rather that opportunity go to somebody like a Top Flight. I know they're working heel, but just in general, I'm saying like Bear Country, like Top Flight. Like I just have more intrigue in them because I feel like those teams have a higher ceiling. So it would just make me more excited to see them on my screen. But I don't really have complaints with them as workers. The gimmick is cheesy and stupid. And I think FTR could have a tag match with like me and Buster and it would be great. Like they're just so ridiculously good. Dax Harwood especially, like, not to take anything away from Cash Wheeler, but what a special performer Dax Harwood is from every aspect of it, especially the ring psychology standpoint. Like he's always doing something clever that I haven't thought of. I thought my takes ran Matt off screen and I was like, I mostly agreed with you. Why are you?
No, I was trying. I was going to sneeze. And I was trying to be like kind of professional because there's people watching. I didn't want them to watch me do my yell sneeze.
That's fair. That's fair.
I'm trying.
I'm glad you got it out of your system. But I mostly agree with you that
it was a falsie.
Those are the worst because you know it's coming, and then you can't sneeze because you've acknowledged that it's the worst.
Yep.
But anyway, I agree with Matt on the in-ring part. I just would rather see more from other tag teams.
And I think you'll get that in time.
I think so too, especially with ROH now. Like I feel like some are going to go down and develop.
And to our point earlier, if you've been listening since we started, thank you for tuning in and thank you for listening in podcast form. Like I don't want it to be like, oh, we have this tag team. Let's just throw them out there and give them. Like I'd rather there was at least a story to this, not one that I was super excited for, but at least there's a story. Like if you're just gonna throw Bear Country out there, like. Yeah, like give me I want a little meat on the bone. I don't want a WrestleMania situation where you're just throwing fucking tag teams out there because, we got them. We're paying them. Give them something to do, pal. Goddamn, pal.
Oh, weird place for Vince to show up.
I know it was.
He's everywhere.
But it was definitely him.
Look, as much as you don't like it, he's in your soul.
Okay.
Like adrenaline?
Vince McMahon in the soul.
Doesn't like sneezes. He's in control.
Nailed it.
So long. What did you think of the match?
I enjoyed the match. FTR. Listen, FTR is the best tag team in the world, or at least one of the top, 3 tag teams in the world. Depending on, everyone has their favorites. But unlike Kate and more like Matt, I enjoyed the Ass Boys being part of this. Listen, I don't want them being heavily featured in storylines. I don't want them going for the titles anytime again soon. But for something like this, where they were kind of the side story through the whole thing, the bigger story is FTR turning face, MJF and Wardlow, the whole thing. You didn't use a team that you did, like if you used a bigger team or a better team, it almost degrades them a little bit, almost takes them down a notch. By using the Ass Boys, no one's like, oh, no one worries about that. They're already at that level, so no one cares. So I think they're perfect for that. They're very hateable, which makes it easier to turn FTR face. And they are kind of like, in some ways, the antithesis of FTR, where like I actually think they are funny, and I've come to like them through Dark, but I can see how the perception is they're there because of their dad. They're that, they haven't put in the work and all that. So it's perfect for what they're trying to do. I love the story of having Wardlow come out during the middle of the match and FTR being pissed, not at Wardlow, but at MJF, because he would have never come out had MJF not been there. Like, that is intelligence wrestlers rarely are allowed to show. Most of the time they have to act dumb and be like, oh, I'm just going to be mad at this guy because that's the way it's supposed to be. So to actually have like intelligence there and be like, no, this is all MJF's fault. I love it. What makes me wonder, though, is up until this point, MJF has always had a plan. So he's got to be seeing the turn of FTR. What is his plan going to be? Because he's got one. So I'm very curious to see where he goes from there.
Yeah, their interactions I thought were pretty cool on this. Also about Wardlow, I do find it funny whenever, and I know this is just a wrestling buy-in thing, but like, oh, Wardlow's coming where this camera crew just happens to be with 12 security guards.
Right.
Like, those spots are always so ridiculous, but they also kind of pop me because it's just wrestling.
You know what? Sorry, man, I want to hear what, but to Kate's thing, I don't want to forget it. There's one thing they could say would make so much more sense. We have cameras by the entrances in case Wardlow makes an appearance. Then it makes sense. All you have to do is one line, and you've addressed that ridiculousness.
That's a great call, Ryan. Also, don't forget, I like your point about MJF having a plan. There's a relationship with him and Andrade.
And it could be Sean Spears. Like, it could just be MJF and Sean Spears versus FTR at some point. Like, not for a super long program, but like that's enough to acknowledge the division. And Sean Spears is his fucking goon. So
I think he's been hilarious as the accountability buddy.
he's great.
Anthony, thoughts on the match? No one ever asks you.
I thought I said I enjoyed this match.
I also tune you out a lot because you're usually being
True.
mean to me.
Yep.
Private chat.
What? Oh, wait, let's see what it says. Peeing again? Oh man. I called it. I didn't even look at it. Anyway.
She should sell that on the internet.
She should be bottling it. Yeah, I like this match a lot. Again, I thought that the Ass Boys. Uh-oh, what'd I miss?
Ryan,
When you guys said she should sell it and bottle it, it really, for whatever reason, viscerally affected me. And I don't usually get that way, but that for some reason got me.
My bad, I missed it. Yeah, I mean, listen, I think the story that they're telling here among the whole group was really played out well during this match. And yeah, I'm on the same page as you guys with the Ass Boys. I think they had a good showing here tonight. I don't want to see them involved in every storyline, but they're so annoying that they seem to fit into some of these stories just because of how annoying they are, right? Like, they were so annoying tonight during this match. And they almost won a couple times with some shenanigans. So, they're working the heel angle right.
And I think another important thing that maybe we look over, regardless of how you feel about them, they get a reaction. People fucking, look, anything's better than the fans sitting on their hands. So, if you send them out, people are going to chant Ass Boys at them. They're going to be ridiculous in the ring. That's just going to make people fucking harass them more with Ass Boys. So I get it.
Yeah, I mean, this whole thing works with them. And now they'll move on to something else. So I don't think it's a big deal.
No.
One of my favorite lines in commentary after everything was settled, Shivani goes, "I hate to say this, but security tonight of all nights, why?" Like, you actually had to stop him. I love it.
Poor guy the poor guy that took the power bomb on the popcorn table and it didn't break. Oof.
Well, that's
the worst thing that could happen.
Classic AEW, tables don't break.
Yeah.
They're not working tables, brother.
So a couple comments from our list viewers. Kyle K. Sparks, the guns are perfectly serviceable, and with some patience, they may turn into something. That is how I feel. I think if you watch them on Dark, you're seeing their elevation where they get to be more of their personality, and I think it's really helpful. Asian Joe has a good point to that too, is they're basically the heel Varsity Blondes, which really works. Like a team that's going to go take a loss when you have when you don't want a team you're trying to work with lose. And then finally, that's true too, but if your plan is Sean Spears, then you really be said to have had a plan at all from Kyle K. Sparks. Very true. He would not be my go-to plan.
Listen, I don't know why they ever ended the whole glove thing with Sean Spears. That was a great gimmick. They should have let it play out. He was with Tully. It made sense, but it is what it is. Spears is just kind of going to hang around now.
It took him I agree, because he had that and it was starting to work. They left it, and then it took a really long time again for him to find something, which he's done very well as the accountability buddy. But that is a long gap from was doing the glove gimmick, joined the Pinnacle, lost the glove gimmick, did nothing for the longest time, and now has something again.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens with Spears. Maybe he doesn't stick around, right? Maybe they just let it go. Matt, something you want to share?
Yeah, Marky Mark kayfabe. I am the table. It's from fucking Botchamania. I think it's like the French announcing table. There's like something on WWE TV and they're putting somebody through a table and the announcer just yells like, "I am the table."
And I do remember seeing that on Botchamania.
Holy shit. I'm sorry.
All good. So moving on from this, we do get a little hype reel between Will Hobbs and Keith Lee. They're setting up for a match on Rampage this week, which will be your main event on Rampage on Friday night. So if you're not watching the pay-per-view or something else, that should be fun. We come back with the Jericho Appreciation Society promo. And Jericho says that they've been the revolutionary force in sports entertainment for the past 3 weeks. He's had everybody talking about him wanting to be part of the JAS, but there's only 5 of them. And if you want to join, you can GFY. Love it. I also loved Garcia in his Kangol hat, just looking so annoying. And I love that they were also talking about he talked about how they future endeavored the Dark Order, Silver and Reynolds last week, and how they took out Santana, Ortiz, and Eddie Kingston. And that's when Angelo Parker asked Matt Menard to peek behind the curtain, but there's nobody there. And then he says, hey Jake, why don't you check over there? And Jake says, yeah, they're not going to be here because we, took care of that. And then basically Ortiz, Santana, and Kingston are there. Madball in the face. And now we're brawling all over. Eventually getting into the ring. They start to get the upper hand with numbers. Kingston is getting whipped with the belt in the ring. And basically the beatdowns on in the Jericho Appreciation Society are standing strong because that's entertainment, folks. So clearly this isn't over. Eddie Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz are still looking for retribution here. While I like this segment and I love this angle, here's the one thing that I really want to end. I want to end Santana and Ortiz being somehow tied to Jericho and to move off into the rest of this division. Like, I want them to move on. I don't know if you guys agree. I know we have to resolve this, and there's a lot of noise in the tag division right now. We'll talk about some more of it as we move on in the night, but I just really want Santana and Ortiz to get the fuck away from Jericho and move on to other stuff.
And I think eventually when we see the blow off to this, because I think I would like to see them bring in Homicide and Hernandez to team with Kingston and Santana and Ortiz and do war games with this, and then move past it. This was way too fucking long for me tonight. This was, and look, I'm not mad. Santana and Ortiz are in a program with Jericho. That's huge. The same thing can be said for Garcia. We saw what it did for Sammy, and Santana and Ortiz being with Jericho. So this is only helping elevate these teams. But I just went on for way too long, man. Like, I don't know. It was just too, I'm waiting. I get you want the heels to stand tall. I get it, right? Because the people are coming back every week to see the faces get their revenge. But man, this fucking went on forever, and I was kind of like punched out of it by the time Floyd got involved, and I was just like, whatever, I don't care. The belt looks painful as shit, but I'm good, man. Like, end this. And I feel like, for me, I can't speak for you guys or anyone watching or listening. This is like, I just always have the same complaint about, I feel like anything that Jericho's involved in. I felt this way about the Inner Circle meetings, the Inner Circle shit with the Pinnacle, the Inner Circle versus it's just fuck it. Like my rant right now, it's just long and stupid.
Okay, Matt's been ranting the whole time you've been away.
Good for him. That's what I did last week about the women. So if Jericho is what's under your skin, that's fine.
Like, I wouldn't have been mad if when they pulled the curtain back, they beat up the Jericho Society and they just ran away like chicken shit heels, and Santana and Ortiz and Kingston stood there like, we got the upper hand. And then Jericho could be like, we weren't afraid of you. Our limo, the meter was running on our super expensive sports entertainment limo, or some dick snot thing that he says.
Meanwhile, back in the sports entertainment limo.
Nick Snot thing he says.
I agree with you. I think that's a product of them having so many stables, right? Like, we get a lot of shit that drags on. And you're right, Jericho does seem to be a persistent thing in that they don't seem to know how to take weeks off from what he's doing. Like, I feel like a lot of the other stuff we don't have shoved down our throat every single week, but with Jericho, for some reason, we do. In this case, I think it actually kind of feeds into the gimmick, which for me as a fan, like, actually works out kind of well. But I think this was supposed to be like Eddie Kingston coming back or whatever, but it feels a little flat all around. Like, I like what Jericho's doing a lot more than what he was doing. Like, this, I think, fits much better. I think his strength is always looking at what's out there and adapting it, even at 50 years old, right? And the biggest heel to AEW fans is sports entertainment. I said that a couple times. So I like what he's doing. I just feel like some breathing room would be helpful here. What does Kitty think?
Okay, sorry, I wasn't sure. So I agree with that. They could use the time that Jericho gets every week to do something with some other roster members that they're not using right now. But I guess they figure, I'm assuming they pay him a lot. Maybe they're just trying to justify always having him. I don't know. What I was really hoping for was not Hager to be the one to discover LAX. I wanted Menard to do it because I feel like he would have added a comedic twist to it, which would have really made me laugh. But instead they had Hager do it. What I did not like about this entire section was the way the fight reversed at the end. We've seen the JAS beat down these guys before. We don't need to see it again. Like, let for lack of a better term, LAX, let them get the upper hand on this one. You didn't have to reverse and end it with the scene we've already seen. But yeah, end it with something we've already seen. You could have very easily just kept going the way we are. Now, maybe they're setting up LAX, bringing in some help, maybe Homicide or someone comes back in to do a quick little run here. Nothing long term, but just something to equal the odds. I don't know. That really I was okay with everything up until they flipped it. And then I was like, what the hell? In terms of your question about Santana and Ortiz getting away from Jericho, I agree to a point, except they're clearly not ready for them to have the tag titles yet for whatever reason. So at least this keeps them in a major story. Like, they're relevant.
I get it. I just wish that I don't know what Matt's pointing to.
Nelly hit the mouse and it removed Kate from the stream.
Oh. I thought you were pointing to your, your pants.
Yeah.
Maybe you pooped your pants.
No.
He has been known to do that, and that's a very good point.
Yeah.
Nelly.
He would have got up and run though, and duck walk to the bathroom.
Perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, Ryan. It's just like I would like to see Santana and Ortiz do some actual tag work, in some matches, not just have to do these beatdown segments every
100%. 100% on that.
I'm not in disagreement. This did go way too long. But I get what they're trying to do. And to Matt's point about, maybe Homicide. I'm sorry, Matt was making faces and I was like, is he making fun of me or playing bongos on Nelly? It's bongos on Nelly. So yeah, I just to Matt's point, maybe they're going to bring Homicide in and some other help, and that's why we get this again. But I think we need to take a break on it. We've seen this now over the past 2 weeks or 3 weeks now. I think maybe we pause it for a week and get something else on television. Regardless, moving on in the night, Jade Cargill is being interviewed backstage, and Smart Mark Sterling says they had 2 options for her 30th opponent, and he picked the most prestigious, the librarian, Leva Bates. But Jade is unhappy about the idea of the 30th being a joke win, and Sterling says they have to go with option 2, which is Marina Shafir. So Jade Cargill says that she'll fight her. She's going to take care of her baddie section while he sets it up. So, yeah, I don't know why we should. I mean, I've seen Marina Shafir on their programming, like on Dark and stuff like that. I don't know why we should be excited about this for a 30th match. In my opinion, this is too green against somebody who's still green in Jade. So I don't know how to feel about this. I wish it was somebody else. But Kate, what are your thoughts? I'm going to sit back and give you 40 minutes to get this off your chest.
Thank you. We will only go till 3 a.m. Eastern today. No, I just Marina Shafir, I think, is great. She has in no way been made to feel important at all on our screen, right? She hasn't been on TV, and she isn't ranked, so none of it makes sense at all. So it's hard to be excited about it. Like, she's not even. I would rather Willow or Trisha Adora or Jody Threat or someone. If you were gonna go the free agent route, like at least get someone else that's out there that has some buzz around them, because I don't think Marina really does. But I mean, I don't know how to get excited about it when she hasn't been on TV. Like, how does that feel like less of a joke win than Leva Bates? Like, neither of them have been on my television. So I just fucking lame to me. Like, why not do Paige Van Zant here?
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think that's green too. To Kyle K. Sparks' point, you could have said the same thing, green versus green, about Jade versus Anna Jay. That match slapped. I think Anna Jay had a little more experience than Marina Shafir. I could be
no. Marina Shafir's been around. She's not green.
Well,
but she hasn't been on my TV though. Like, I just don't.
She's been on my TV.
I mean,
but they got to stop assuming that shit, man. Like, they've got to just stop.
But you're arguing them bring in Willow or Trish Adora. You're assuming people have seen them.
Well, I'm assuming those are people that are going to be on the ROH roster, so there's at least like a little bit of synergy there. But they've been trying to get Marina like something in AEW. Like, she walks out to Dark with an entrance and music. That means you're not just, she wins. Okay,
she doesn't
so my
lose.
suggestion of Willow sucks then. It should be somebody that has been built up on my television. It should be somebody who's ranked. Like, it's more of the same crap to me. Like, of them just, it's literally nothing more than a lack of caring. Why do you have rankings if you're not going to use them? And like, it's hard to care about someone that's not on my screen on either of your programs. She hasn't been on Rampage. And she hasn't been on. I would rather see like a quick snap program where Ruby Soho comes back again for some reason. Give me a reason or whatever. Like, I don't know. It just put them on my TV so I can give a shit. It's not rocket science. Just put a woman on television to build a program.
But I'll even say this: I've seen a few of Marina's matches on the Darks. It's nothing that I'm like, I've got to see this person on TV. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that's it for me. Like, I haven't seen her do anything on the Darks that I'm like, she needs to be on television, or I need to see her in some sort of picture. This will be her first exposure, and she won't win. If they let her win, that would be a shock, but they won't. So, right. I don't get it. I think there's potential for this to fail. I just don't think it's going to work, but hopefully I'm wrong. Schlong, you've probably been the one to see most of Marina Shafir. Like I said, I've seen some of it, not all of it. Does this match excite you?
Yes, I was very excited when I heard her name. She's got a violent style. I really appreciate it. I think she looks like a total badass. They've been doing great work with her on Dark. I understand your point, Kate, of like, put someone ranked, but they've built no one up, and they're using the TBS title the same way they use TNT, which is open challenge, can cover them anywhere. Eddie Kingston, Ricky Starks, these guys who were not in the company, who had really no buzz about them when they brought them in. They've been trying. I know you say they can't assume, but they do get hundreds 300,000 viewers to watch a Marina Shafir match on Dark, so at least they know some of their audience will be familiar with her. I think she'll put on a good match with Jade, and I think they've been clearly setting up the fact that that they've been very carefully picking her opponents, and someone's going to come out who she didn't pick. And it could be on the roster, it could be anyone from outside. I don't care anything about, but the clearly 31, in my opinion, is going to be someone she didn't pick. And that's going to be the big match. And they've been setting that up with letting her pick her own opponents, which is not something a lot of other people do. So I think I actually think that's been a really well-written story. I think the Leva thing was funny because she's one of the few wrestlers you could do that to and not have it be insulting, because she does a ton of other stuff in the back. But I think the whole point has just been like, to me, they're helping build Marina, because it's like, Smart Mark is scared. He's like, I don't like, yes, she's better than choosing someone else, but she's still not someone I want you going against. I don't know. I see this as, if we're going to use the TBS the same way we used the TNT, I see no difference in doing this than when Ricky Starks came in.
I also, to the point, Matt, I'll get to you in a second here.
It's like you trained Nelly to jump up.
Yeah. I agree with what some people are saying in the chat. Like, well, it didn't help that
Don't steal my thunder, bro.
Okay, go ahead, Matt.
God damn, man.
How do I know what you're going to say?
Sitting here playing with Nelly, listening to everybody. Please.
Go ahead.
Don't steal my thunder, Kyle.
Yeah, we always want to know what you think, and then Matt just steamrolls
No,
you.
because you were going to read what Kyle said. Oh, Nelly doesn't know Mood is in the other room. I got to keep an eye on this. Hold on.
Okay, so then I'm going to talk.
Yeah. Let me punch out for a second.
Okay. So
Amazing.
I wasn't going to read everything Kyle K. Sparks said, but he did make a point. Like, this is the first time on TV they've done any sort of hype reel or package for Marina. Like, couldn't they have hyped her up a little bit in prior weeks to say, like, you got to check her out on Dark? Like, you should be watching her because she's the next big thing.
Like when Rosa came in, they did that.
Okay, but how many hype reels did Ricky Starks get? He got one too. It is literally the TNT title. Just
Shafir, but people knew who Ricky Starks was. Like, Ricky had hype.
I didn't. I had absolutely no idea who Ricky Starks was.
Okay, well, I don't know. The entire men's division isn't fucking lacking anything, so maybe there's some leniency with that. Whatever. I'm so fucking tired of talking about this stupid division. I'm so sick of it.
So we need new stars, right? We need to make new people. This is a shot to make a new star with Marina Shafir. Is she going to be the AEW World Champion? No, but is she a viable opponent for Jade Cargill? Yes. To Kyle's point, I don't know if he's talked about it because I had to go make sure there was no fucking Wrestle War 95 in my bedroom. I think they dropped the ball running a vignette at 8:30. It was
also, did anybody else find it weird and unfinished? I felt like it was like just getting started and then it stopped. It was like, oh, okay, I guess that's our video package. It felt very short and weird to me. Like they were like, gotta wrap it up or something. It felt
to me, it was played at the wrong time.
That could be
shouldn't you have played that at like 9:30 or something right after they announced the match? Like, you don't that's where I did have an issue. You don't play it before the match is announced. You play it after to be like, because they hadn't decided she was coming yet.
See, I find that hard to believe.
But I'm in agreement. I felt that package was out of place. I would have done it after they announced it to give you insight as to who Marina Shafir was. Or, Matt, I said this while you had stepped away. Like Kyle said, run vignettes for prior weeks. Like, hype her up that you should be checking her out on Dark. She's the next big thing. But they haven't done any of that.
I guess that's part of it. Was Ricky Starks was coming in from outside the company, and Marina Shafir is wrestling on their own brand, right? So
yeah,
I'll give you that.
Why wouldn't you naturally say, hey, this person's wrestling on her own brand, check it out, as opposed to, hey, this outsider is coming in? Like, I don't
Right.
know.
And it's not like Tony Khan just stuck his hand in a hat with a bunch of names. Like we watch Dynamite every week. We watch Rampage. He's got an idea, right? So even if 3 weeks out, so 2 weeks ago, if we had seen a Shafir promo and then she had a squash match on Rampage, and then we got another video package last week, and then another video package Friday night, and a video package tonight, there would have been some build up to it. It was just like, here's a package about Marina Shafir, who thinks she's part of this weird MMA horsewomen with Rhonda and Jasmine Duke and Shayna Baszler. But nobody fucking knows because we're just going to play this vignette at 8:30. So, I mean, they fucking dropped the ball, but I'm not mad about it. I like the vignette. I just wish we got a build up to it. There was more, because it was kind of just like here and gone. And then an hour later, they're like, oh, so this lady whose vignette I saw at the beginning of the show that made no fucking sense of being here is now going to get a match. I guess, like Mark Sterling being like, I like Ryan watches more of Dark and Dark Elevation and seems like he has his fingers on the pulse of what possibly is going to happen with 31. And maybe that's where they bring in the Ember Moon or Tegan Knox or Trish Adora or somebody else. But at least we know it's not. Look, we've seen the thing is Mark Sterling is picking the low-hanging fruit. He picks the girls that he knows Jade is going to beat, right? That's like part of the thing. Like when he announces, like, no disrespect to Sky Blue, who's going to get beat by I almost said Camille by Jamie Hayter next week. Like, right? So I'm not, I get the frustration, but at the same time, if Marina Shafir goes out and has a great showing, that's another name you could throw in the Owen Hart Foundation women's tournament. And to Ant's point earlier, even if she comes up on the losing end in the tournament, maybe she has a nice showing, and maybe you have another good hand in your women's division that needs help. And we'll get to it. They got a little help, but a little more isn't going to hurt. So take a fucking shot. You're not going to know until you give it a roll of the dice.
I do reserve the right that if 31 ends up being like, again, Anna Jay again or Tay Conte again, to be annoyed. I do reserve the right to come back because I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt that this whole thing seems to be setting up that she gets 30, she starts to have her big celebration, and then someone's thing plays up on the screen. Like it's very stereotypical. This is very stereotypical wrestling, but I want that. Like that's a good wrestling story that like you've picked your first however many opponents. Now it's my turn to do it. And if there's been so many names, Mia Yim by Gordon Poster in there. If it's any one of those, it can't be Willow because she's wrestled Dark there and lost. Like she doesn't have the Trish Adora would be great. I know Trish Adora actually lost on Dark too, but she hasn't been as used as much as Willow, and she's had, I think, more titles elsewhere. But if it's a Mia Yim or Tegan Knox or Athena, if they have her coming at 31, I'm all for it. If it's a repeat of someone she already beat, I'm not for it. The only one who may get around that for me is either Statlander, or the only two, or Ruby, because they're, to me, I view them as that next level that could actually win the belt.
Be a great way to introduce Maria Kanellis too. If she says, you've picked your opponents all this time, I'm Maria Kanellis from Ring of Honor, and I'm picking your opponent this time.
That would be awesome.
I mean, I've said since Kanellis went out, and Kyle K. Sparks said the same thing in the chat. He's saying, they need Maria Kanellis. I've said the same thing, Kyle K. Sparks, from the day that she put up her thing that she was done with Ring of Honor. I said they're foolish if they don't bring in Maria Kanellis, because she was, I sound like a broken record now. She was, instrumental in that women's division in Ring of Honor being rebuilt.
And when we were at Ring of Honor, you said, "Who boy, does she look good?" Because Maria Kanellis looked good.
I mean, we saw her walk through that goddamn lobby, and I think I stopped breathing for a minute. But I did the same thing with Willow. So,
oh my God,
yeah, the same thing that night when you slept.
That's true. I stopped breathing a lot. That's why I wear those CPAP. That might be resolved soon.
Tossing and turning, motherfucker.
Anyway, Moving on from this, we get to the American Dragon Bryan Danielson versus Wheeler Yuta.
I forgot I did banners. Sorry, guys.
It's all good. So let's cut to the end of this match real quick. There's a lot maybe we could pick apart here. Danielson wins by submission with the label lock. But during this match, Wheeler, even though Wheeler took the loss here again, looked really, really strong. He was doing some things in this match that, heelish guys do, sort of like Danielson. He had Danielson in the reverse figure 4, and he's bridging and crossing his arms, flexing, stuff like Danielson does. The stuff he was doing in the beginning when Danielson had him by the hands and he was pinning him down, lifting his shoulders up, then bridging out, then Danielson climbing on top of him and hitting him with knees and still staying in a bridge. I mean, Wheeler looked great to me in this match. Another match tonight to me where the guy, and this is, greener talent, not a veteran talent, but he's not green, right? Younger talent looking really strong, taking a loss tonight because the guy he's in the ring with is of a different level and he could stay with him stride for stride. I mean, fantastic showing for Wheeler. Matt, I want to throw it to you first because I think before you had brought up some of the things that Regal was talking about in commentary. So I want to throw it to you first so that nobody can steal your thunder.
Oh, why? Thank you for looking out for me, buddy. I appreciate that. That's why this is your ship, and I'm just riding shotgun, buddy. Lord Steven Regal.
William
Steven was out there for commentary, and I thought he did a great job. I like how he referred to Excalibur as the masked man.
Every week. Fantastic.
And I liked how when they said he's one of the best, and William Regal is quick to correct him and say he is the best. I thought he added a lot on commentary by not doing a lot. And I think that's very important, especially in the storytelling that they're telling here. And he puts over, he sees the fire in Wheeler Yuta that he saw in Bryan Danielson. So that's why he's a big fan. I love the match itself was awesome. They told a great story. I loved Wheeler Yuta spitting in his face. I loved him kind of using a false sense of security for Danielson, thinking he's going to get on cattle mutilation and reversing that. I thought that was fucking brilliant. The fucking elbow strikes. Great story, great match, great finish. I don't think we're done. And commentary did a great job too, not just Regal, but the commentary putting over he does not want to be a best friend. He wants to be the best wrestler. So I feel like it's all lining up. I think they put over Wheeler wrestling Josh Woods this weekend for the pure title. I think Wheeler walks out pure champion. I'll tip my hand so those two fucking losers that I do the podcast with on Monday nights can steal my pick because I know I'm getting a win there. But I think Wheeler walks out pure champion. I think we get him eventually in the Foot Clan or whatever the fuck they're called. Stupid name.
Blackpool Combat Club.
Blackpool Combat Club. Also, this match, and I don't know why, gave me memories of Bryan Danielson against Nigel McGuinness from Ring of Honor, which, if you have never seen, they had some real fucking great matches. And I don't know what Nigel McGuinness' status is if he still works for the WWE UK, but man, he would be. First of all, I'd love to see him wrestle again. If you're not familiar with Nigel McGuinness, please watch some Nigel McGuinness Ring of Honor stuff. But God, I would love to see him somehow become part of this. I guess Cape Nodderhead, he's still in the UK doing the UK thing.
He is, but I think there's a lot of ambiguity around what, if anything, that brand is going to be. So I can't imagine if he wanted to go, they would probably let him go. And I don't think anybody really knows what's happening there. I would imagine if the opportunity to work with William Regal again were to pop up, he would probably jump at the opportunity, would be my guess.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed this.
Kate, what did you think?
I thought this was fantastic. I love I like when the story is so strong that the foregone conclusion of Yuta losing didn't matter. Like the story here was, can he hang? And he showed that he could hang. And like you said, there's differentials in the caliber of wrestler where the loss doesn't feel as harmful because you're in there with one of the best in the world. It's no truer than with anyone than Bryan Danielson, right? Because he's literally the best wrestler right now in the world, probably. Him and Gresham, I would say, are basically duking it out for the best at this. So that just is the truest thing. And I loved so much of what happens here. I say it time and time again, but Danielson having so many weapons to finish you off with. When Matt said that about Punk winning with the Anaconda Vice, I was like, oh, maybe he is on like a Danielson map here because Punk is starting to diversify what he wins with. That would be very, very fun to see Punk in the stable doing a similar thing where it's like, I can beat you with these 5 moves or whatever. So I thought this was fantastic. This is such a great way to get Wheeler on television. You said a younger, greener talent, and he is compared to Danielson, but like he's fantastic. Like he's so fantastic in the ring. And he feels like so much more of a fit here that it seems like this is a guy they would want to poach because he's really great. And he's a guy that would want to be poached. He isn't here to be a best friend, like commentary said, like Matt said. Like it would make sense that he would want to get stolen from them, and it would make sense that they would want to pursue him. So I just appreciate that both sides of that relationship also make sense. But for me, this was match of the night. This was my favorite thing that I saw. This Danielson run is so special. Like he's had such a special career, and I think this is my favorite thing in that special career. Like it's pretty cool.
Schlong, what'd you think?
So real quick, Kate, are we putting Kenny Omega aside because of the injury?
As best wrestler in the world?
You said Danielson and Gresham. I don't care. I'm just curious. Usually it's Danielson and Omega, so you're the first to put Gresham ahead of.
Yeah, I think Kenny being out would disqualify him, but if you wanted to throw him back in,
you're literally the first I have heard. Yeah, Danielson's always tops. You're literally the first time I've heard someone put Gresham ahead of Omega, which I'm not arguing. Even if you wanted to do that, it's just interesting. And good for Gresham to finally begin at that level. Match was great. I mean, I can't say anything you guys can say. I love the moments of aggression from Yuta, like when he bridged in the submission just because Danielson was pissing him off. You guys talked about how much William Regal enhanced the commentary. What he really did was enhance the story of how impressive Yuta was looking. I mean, we know Yuta looked good because we could see him, but in case anyone, sometimes, and it's even I do this. Sometimes I don't know if what I'm seeing is impressive sometimes because I don't understand all the technical stuff that goes into a move or something. So when you're trying to get a story across, to have someone like William Regal being like, this is very impressive. He looks great. You're like, oh, okay, I see what they're doing. Like this is a tryout, essentially. Like you're hoping this is his tryout. This is what William Regal said he needed to do, and this is what he's doing. I don't know if he beats Josh Woods on Friday because, again, we're going to have this. We've had this conversation a couple times. We don't know what ROH is going to be. If ROH and AEW are going to regularly interact, or ROH is 6 months away from having TV, then yes, you give the title to you to let them run with it for a while. If ROH is going to be its own thing and its TV is going to start pretty soon, then I suspect Yuta is going to lose because you're going to want Yuta in AEW where they're building this story. So I guess it really depends on how they view it. I don't think, obviously, this wasn't their plan for Yuta all along because he was brought in before Danielson, before all this. But man, it really fell into their laps because this has been a great story of his time with the best friends where he was kind of just joking and hanging along and having fun to realizing to go to the level he wants to go at, he has to be something completely different. It's just been a really good story development for him, and it kind of fell into their laps.
Here's a thought, because I wasn't even thinking ahead to Friday night. To Matt's point, Matt thinks Wheeler Yuta is going to win that pure title. Wheeler Yuta wins that pure title. Is that his claim that he's good enough to be in the Blackpool Combat Club, and they let him in based on that pure win?
Man, that I have to think if you win that pure title, that would be the thing you can say, like, that would be the moment he shows up on Dynamite, next Wednesday with a pure title around his waist, and Lord William Regal comes out and says, like, slaps him really hard and then goes, "You're in." That would be the moment, because that would be the thing. You raised a really interesting point. Again, I just wish I knew what ROH was doing, because it would determine how I fantasy booked things in my head.
Well, it could be a way he gets in, so we'll have to keep an eye on Ring of Honor Friday night. But moving on from this, we get our Undisputed Elite Championship celebration. They're coming in with their stolen title belts. My favorite part of that is the tape over the nameplates with their own names written on it. I thought that was a fantastic touch. And they say you can't. Adam Cole says that Jurassic Express and Adam Page aren't there tonight, but people are saying they stole the belts. But you can't steal something that belongs to you, and the celebration isn't for them. It's for all of us and all of AEW. And it's a new era, a new crew to run the show. They're the 3 best wrestlers on the planet. Kyle O'Reilly says that haters have been saying they're not ranked highly enough to challenge for the titles, but they're wicked and the rankings don't matter. And then he has to sit down because he's had too much champagne backstage. But Bobby Fish says he'll put their resume up against anyone in the industry. And you're looking at the 3 baddest dudes in the company, bar none. And that's when Hangman Adam Page shows up in his Longhorn Tesla, and he gets out, and the beatdown is on. Backup comes from Jurassic Express and Christian Cage. We do get a moment where it looks like we're going to hit the buckshot lariat on Adam Cole, but it doesn't happen. And the titles are taken back by their rightful owners, and the champions stand tall in the ring with their belts. Did we like this segment? Did we not like this segment? Were we indifferent? I see a lot of faces just staring. Kate, what did you think?
I thought it was good. I didn't think it was great, but it was serviceable enough. I think, building to something like Battle of the Belts doesn't have to have the same gusto as pay-per-view, I feel like. But this is all logical and good. I don't have any complaints about it. I just didn't feel like there was anything necessarily like super outstanding about it either.
Yeah, I don't know. Stolen titles, we're celebrating. I don't know.
Yeah,
but they're
very like
the story.
typical wrestling heel stuff, right? Like,
yeah. Matthew?
Yes. It was what it was. It was fucking goofy.
Yeah.
It's just you're gonna get Adam Cole on TV with the Red Dragon, and you're gonna get your world champion, your tag champs on TV, and maybe they throw some curveball where it's 3-on-3, winning team takes all the belts are on the line. I don't fucking know. I don't know. I thought this was goofy and a time.
The 5 balloons. The 5 balloons in the box was also a nice touch. The party supplies.
Kyle O'Reilly can't get his words out of his mouth. Whatever.
He's drunk.
Onward.
Schlong, what did you think?
I laughed, so I had a good time with it. I liked the balloons, that there were 5. Like you said, if there had been more, it wouldn't have been as funny. If there had been less, it wouldn't have been as funny. 4 or 5 is just really funny because it's just enough to be like, what the fuck was that? Kyle O'Reilly's a rough promo. I thought his stuff was funny, like having champagne and all, but he just let Bobby Fish talk for him. But this served its point. They're the bad guys. They're doing things a little different. No one has stolen titles yet in AEW. They're really the first ones to steal a title like that. So doing something a little different. They're not like, I'm not talking like, NWO outside, but just outside, like guys all just came in. They think that it's their time. And you have someone like Paige who has been here since the beginning and got himself the champ, and same with Jurassic Express. Like, there is a story there. So I'm fine with it. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the worst. And there were a couple parts that really made me laugh.
Well, we'll see how they play this out. We do have to lead to Battle of the Belts. So we've got to set up some belt stories. Shivani interviews Thunder Rosa after this. We're not going to go through the whole thing, but basically she says she's the best in the world. She's going to be the foundation of this division. And she basically calls out Nyla Rose. I did like the line where she said, I will talk to you, but do you have to have something like, do you have to have Vicky here to translate for you to dumb it down? So that was a nice dig. So we're basically setting up Nyla Rose and Thunder Rosa. If anybody would like to say something, you certainly can.
I did not understand any of Thunder Rosa's promo towards the end, and I hate to say this because I love Thunder Rosa, but like the last bit of it, I'm pretty sure she repeated herself twice, and both times it made no sense to me.
I think her brain was going a little quicker than her mouth.
Slow down, Thunder.
Yeah.
You know
Slow
what?
down.
Great point, Asian Joe. After last week, you think Thunder Rosa wouldn't have her back to the tunnel.
It's very true.
Great point.
Schlong, did you have something you want to add?
Yeah, this would have been a lot better last week.
Yep, I agree.
This is the promo I wanted from her last week, and I'll have a comment on the promo next too. But this was I agree she went too fast. I'm willing to forgive that. She was excited. It was her first actual promo as champion, so I'm willing to be like, hey, that's a big deal to her. So I'm willing to forgive that mistake. But this would have been a lot better last week.
Well, we moved to an FTR promo, and they say that the Ass Boys say they take things too seriously. Maybe they do, but they're making history with those AAA titles, and they're going to win the Ring of Honor titles Friday, and they're going to get the AEW titles back. Dax loves pro wrestling too much to ever take second place, so he's issuing the challenge to the Young Bucks for another match to determine the greatest tag team of all time. Top guys out. So I think this came up before, Matt. I think you wanted to talk about this or mention something in this promo. Maybe not. I could have been misremembering stuff, but any issues with this promo?
No.
Okay. Schlong, anything to add? Kate?
No.
Good enough. Yeah.
I thought it was just the one thing I have to say. I thought it was weird that they were like, we're not taking second place. So I thought they were going to issue a challenge for those titles again, but they were like, hey, Young Bucks, you want to just have another match? I thought that was sort of a weird way to lead into it, but it is what it is. I'll take Young Bucks and FTR any day of the week. So, guys, we're going into the first qualifying match for the women's side of the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. And we find out that the mystery opponent is Toni Storm. She has finally arrived after all of the speculation, and it is official. She did get the treatment. She is all elite. So this isn't a one-shot. She's here to stay. I don't know, Kate, how you got from location back home so quickly, but
I do feel like I look more like her than I look like Penelope Ford.
Yeah.
I feel like me and Toni Storm are a little bit more simpatico in that.
Well, this was the debut for Toni Storm. Cutting to the end of this match, Toni Storm does win by pinfall with the strong 0 qualifying for the Owen Hart Foundation Women's Tournament. Pretty good first showing for Toni Storm. People were really amped on this, which is good. You want people to be excited about the big signing coming in. Kate, I want to throw it to you again because we have been so critical of the division and you've been known to rant. Toni Storm, I'm sure you like that. What are your thoughts on what she'll bring to the division? And also, did you like this first match out of her?
So I'm very excited that she's there. And I thought she looked great, especially for this being her first match in 2 months or whatever. She left WWE on such weird terms. She was in a very odd feud with Flair and then just left MSG and didn't come back, and WWE granted her release for some reason. So we'll take it. I think it's a really good shot in the arm for the division. The booking needs to also follow. They can't just rely on that and take their foot off the gas with it. A couple of minor things, I just wish it wasn't in the death slot at this weird 9:30 thing. If it's going to be a big debut, you'd hope it would either open or close the show. But that's a little bit more nitpicky. I just feel like I think the main event that we got justified being in the main event. So that definitely helped a little bit, but it's more just like, great, she's a star. Last time you gave us a star, it was Ruby, and hasn't been on TV since February. So like, we have to do better things with this. Tournaments are a great reset button, but I've hoped that was the case with 2 previous tournaments. So like, let's hopefully, I think you have better talent in this one, and the talent that was greener is becoming a little more seasoned in the past tournaments. But I'm very excited about her appearance. I thought she looked good. She's such a star. She just has every piece of this that you would want. I think I'm really pumped that she's here. I just hope that that it actually makes a difference. She would have been number 2 on my list. I think I would still prefer Athena, but I'm certainly no complaints.
And Marky Mark Kayfabe said in the chat, Toni has an interesting hairstyle, according to JR. And I also noted that because I think this was 2 weeks in a row that JR mentioned somebody's hairstyle. So
you're stealing my gimmick.
What?
He really is.
Jim Ross is stealing my hair gimmick.
I was going to say, much like Matt's hairstyle thing, seems like JR's got the same thing. Matt, what do you think about Toni Storm, and what do you think she'll do for the division?
I think it's a great move. I think this was the signing. I think she has a super high ceiling. I don't know how the WWE'd it, but they did. So like, this look. Her debut was great. The match was good. I love that she's in the tournament. Just her reaction coming out, man. It's so like, I can't imagine what it's like for these people to look. Everybody wants that WWE dream job, and then you leave. Like, she just fucking, like Kay said, left. Like, she was like, I'm not having fucking cupcake fights with Charlotte Flair. I should be wrestling her and telling the story in the ring, not fucking this garbage. And then the fear, like, I just left my dream job and then I'm going to go to AEW. Like, and you always second guess yourself. Just for her to come out and the fans to react like that, and her genuinely like her reaction is such a wonderful thing to see. And and I don't think you ever get tired of seeing that with people who debut at AEW, especially people who wear their emotions on their sleeve and they're just taken aback by the reaction. Even after the match, they noted it on commentary. She was super emotional. I think this is a fucking great get for AEW and the women's division. And I really am with Kate on this. I really hope they can like right the ship. Like, give me Toni Storm and Serena Deeb. Give me Toni Storm and Thunder Rosa. Give me Toni Storm and fucking Mercedes Martinez. Like, Britt Baker. Let's do this right. Give me stories with women I am interested in and invested in and that I care about. Don't just the fucking Nyla Rose, Thunder Rose. I don't give a shit. I hope a fucking bus drives through the arena in the middle of that match and they have to cancel it. I hope Thunder Rose's favorite sports team is playing and she cancels the match like the country singer did so he could go watch the fucking college basketball game this weekend. I don't give a flying fuck about Nyla Rose and Thunder Rosa. Take that to the bank, bitch.
Ooh. Also, I do want to note, I think we all felt really good about the last tournament they did with the women and felt like there were a lot of stories that came out to it. So I hope they can continue with this one. The problem was they just sort of felt like they took their foot off the gas, like to Kate's point. I think they came out hot. They had a lot of stories and then it just kind of fizzled out. So maybe they can get the same thing going this time around and kind of rejuvenate themselves out of this tournament. Schlong, your thoughts on the Toni Storm match and her being part of this division?
So I won't speak much on the match because you guys said it right. It was a good match. I don't think Bunny gets enough appreciation for the role she's played in this company, and I think she's been doing great work as pretty much the only solid mid-card heel. I'm gonna let Nyla take the main event because they always give her to the champion, but like the Bunny is the one they use when they're wanting more of a mid-card level heel, and so she's done a very good job of that. She's been pretty important. Tony's obviously a star. She's only 26, so like she's got a lot of time left. That was tweeted by Fight Club, so I
hope it's right.
Yeah. So Kate mentioned she wishes it wasn't at the 9:30 hour, and I agree. As a debut, what I actually really wish was that from like 9:15 to like 9:40, somewhere in that range, you wanted to watch the women's match because they gave it enough time, and it became like, you know how you always knew when the Matt would know this and Ant would know this. Kate really wouldn't, she wasn't watching then. You would know when the cruiserweights they always had the cruiserweights like on hour flips and stuff like that to get your attention, like that. They wanted newcomers to see this awesome wrestling. You could have women's wrestling be like, I got to tune in at 9:15 because I know I'm going to see a bangers women match. But the problem is what they do is they put it on at 9:25, do a picture-in-picture commercial, and it's over by 9:32. That's the problem. Like, if you're going to set a time, then you got to give them enough time in that aspect to work. And now you actually have to start, and you need to have more than one match on Dynamite. Have two. You have enough talent to do two. Put Ruby in a match. Put, Mercedes in a match. You have all this talent out there. Let them, even if the matches right now don't have a lot of story, if you just keep putting matches on and start working stories into them, they will develop. You can kind of, I hate to say force the issue, but you can if you're not, like, if you're worried, well, we don't know how we're going to get to the story. Well, you're not going to get to any story if you don't have a match. So start doing stuff, like start putting them out there. So it's just very annoying. I agree. But I mean, Tony's going to be a star in this company. She was a star. Listen, she left because they were having pie fights, but she was a star in WWE. She was going against Charlotte. Charlotte's the biggest person over there. So she left of her own accord. It wasn't because they didn't have anything for her. She is at that level. She, in a lot of ways, is kind of like not a game changer, but she's a big deal to this division. Like, you're now talking someone who, if they put her in the title picture tomorrow, it would make sense. So I'm very interested to see where they go. But the real key is going to be, and we keep saying it, how they book going from here on out. And I think the way you do that is by giving them enough time in their matches and having more than one match in a night. And I think you do those two things and you'll have a successful women's division that people love.
Yeah, I mean, I'm at the very least glad that they put another women's match on Friday nights, right? Like, they could easily be like, it's an hour. We can't do a women's match within an hour show. So I'm at the very least glad about that. To the point of where it was booked on this card and the time, I personally didn't necessarily have a problem with it because I was interested in seeing who it was. So I was sticking around regardless of the time. Maybe they didn't want to put it on within the first hour because maybe they were afraid that this is the big reveal and people are going to see it and then bail. So I didn't necessarily have a problem with it. I understand what you're saying, Kate. Like, maybe put it on earlier in the night, really get the interest and keep people hooked. But it didn't necessarily bother me because I was there to see who it was and watch the show regardless. But, it's picking nits. And I think that regardless, Toni Storm has a lot of room to grow in AEW and a lot of places they could go, a lot of interesting matchups they could throw her into. And hopefully this tournament will, show us what some of those storylines are. So we'll keep our fingers crossed moving forward. They seem to be booking this sort of, week to week, seeing the matchups. As Matt said, they did say we have Jamie Hayter and Sky Blue coming up, I think Friday night. Maybe next Wednesday. I can't remember. But, we'll see how they book this tournament. But it looks good so far. We do get a quick promo backstage. Thunder Rosa basically accepts the challenge. My biggest problem with this is she's like, she said she'll be Thunder Rosa's genie and grant her wish to jack her up. Abracadabra, bitch. I didn't know that genie said abracadabra, but it is what it is.
They do.
Do they? A genie says abracadabra?
I thought those magicians.
Yeah, me
I
too.
think genies could say it too.
Well, either way.
Abracadabra,
bitch.
My biggest problem? Well, I had two problems with this. One, Vicky's mic just didn't work for her part of it, which actually wasn't a bad thing, but 3 problems. 2, it proves that Nyla 100% doesn't need Vicky at this point. She does her own promos perfectly well. 3, if you had started these promos 2 months ago, she didn't have to specify Thunder Rosa. She could have been like, whoever's champ, I'm coming for you. Then this would make so much more sense and we'd have a story. because you would have seen her coming for months. Instead, you just pulled it out of nowhere again. It's like you had months to set this up. She could have been having matches. She won, and she could have been said, whoever is the champ, I'm coming for you. I refuse to be overlooked. It really would have been a simple storytelling over a couple months, and you would have got there. And instead, kind of like what Punk did tonight with Hangman and Cole, basically saying, like, whoever's there, I'm coming. Like, that's what's frustrating is you could have had the same story, but had it actually work had you just even a month ago, just a few weeks of lead time of her being like, yeah, no, it's my time again. Because she has, as much as she's lost her big matches, she is a former champion. She was there from day one. Like, she has some stuff she could say, like, you have to respect me. But they just, they, and I'm, for Kate's, not to steal Kate's thunder on what she says, just from lack of caring, like, they seem to be doing an ass backwards. They give Thunder Rosa the promo she should have had on her first night after the next week. They give Nyla the promo she should have been having weeks before after. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. All this stuff could have been so simple and made so much sense. And I'm not saying you would have liked the feud between Nyla and Rosa, but you couldn't have hated it. Like, you would have had to understand where they're coming from. Instead, they just pulled it out of nowhere.
Well, we are clearly getting this match between Thunder Rosa and Nyla Rose, so we'll see. We also got a video package of Jeff Hardy's balcony dive and the promise that we're going to get the Butcher and the Blade versus the Hardys. And once we get back for the final commercial break, we're into our main event. It's time for the Dynamite main event. It's Andrade El Idolo versus Darby Allin. Starts out with some action outside the ring. Andrade throws the tornillo to take Allin out during his entrance, and then there's some action outside the ring which puts Darby Allin into a bad position because the bell hasn't even rung yet. As we go through this match, cutting to the end, Andrade El Idolo does win by pinfall with a hammerlock DDT. It should be noted that during the match, Jose comes down, Sting cuts him off, the Butcher and the Blade run in, Darby takes them out with a crossbody, but that's what distracts him as he's getting back into the ring for Andrade to get the win. So no shenanigans where anybody actually causes Darby the match. Darby's distracted and causes himself the match, which I thought was kind of a nice touch. No schmazzy win. Darby kind of did it to himself. So Andrade gets the win in post-match. The Andrade family office hits the ring to beat up Sting. Private Party joins in the fun, and then that's when the Hardy Boys come to the ring to make the save. They hit the Twist of Fate and a Swanton Bomb on Mark Quinn. Do the monkey, and then that's the show, folks. That is it. So, Matt, what do you think of the main event? I thought it was a pretty awesome match.
Oh boy.
Awesome in the sense of the action, I thought was great.
Yes, no, it was. Here's the thing, right? It was a great match, a lot of fun, a lot of action. But every Darby Allin match is the same. It's literally the same. He's fighting from under. It's like his TNT title run. This match reminded me of his TNT title run. Thankfully, he lost. The match was a banger, but it's the same. He's always fighting from underneath. There's always going to be a bigger opponent. It wasn't bad. I just kind of was like, he's great at taking sick bumps. I don't know. I just wasn't feeling it. But I was feeling, bro, those first couple riffs of that Hardy Boy entrance song is fucking awesome. Bow, 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 bow. Fucking pump me up, man.
That's right.
The stuff, with him getting just, being his own distraction, costing himself the match and all the shenanigans outside. I get it. I understand it. It's great to see the Hardys. And I'm sure this is going to lead to something. The 5-on-5 match, Sting, Darby, the Hardys. It was a good match. I'm not really feeling the Darby Avant-Garde.
He bumped like hell from
Oh, he's a
Andrade.
bump. He's fucking unbelievable. Unbelievable. But again, this is what I see when I watch a Darby Allin match.
Sure.
It's the same. It's like a Finn Balor match. It's the
Of
same
course.
shit every
Of
year,
course.
in my
No,
opinion.
I don't disagree. The one thing that did get me to cringe though was I don't remember if it was a back body drop or something that Andrade threw on Darby and he landed on his knees. Oh my goodness. I was like, I'd be dead. That would be the end of my working legs. Schlong, what'd you think?
I thought it was a really good match. Like you guys were talking about, he bumps like hell. Matt's not wrong at all about the way Darby's matches are. They all do feel kind of the same. At some point in time, I don't know when, it feels like he changed his style because I feel like early on, his violence, like he would take these bumps, but he was always delivering a level of violence that justified these bumps. Like he would make a dive and yeah, it would hurt him, but he'd ruin your leg or something so that like you're now hurt. So that you're kind of on equal playing fields. Like he's hurt you enough to make things even. It just recently has felt more like, oh, just bump, 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 bump. It's like, hurt your guy, do something, bring some level of violence where they're like, oh yeah, you're gonna throw him around, but you're gonna hurt yourself doing it, and then that would make it more interesting to me. We clearly are setting up for that major match between the Andrade office and I don't know what you call that mix of group, but that group. I like that Andrade won because I think he needed the win more. Like you said, it was pretty interesting that it wasn't. I mean, there was stuff going on outside, but Darby could have ignored it and he refused to. So like it was pretty. He got in his own way. So I'm very interested to see what they do with Andrade next after this giant clusterfuck of a feud. And the Hardys coming out cracks me up. And I think it was Kyle it was Mark Quill in the chat saying he laughed at the Hardys. Hold on, so I don't misquote it. He laughed at the Hardys waiting until after the match and the heel wanted to intervene. Like, yeah, like Sting's getting his ass kicked. And that's why Darby had to jump out of the ring. The Hardys could have come out at any point during that and helped out.
Yeah.
But they waited to the very end. I mean, I know it's wrestling, so like you laugh, but it's just kind of is funny when you really think about like that's just insane.
Yeah, I mean, you should help when help is needed, earlier rather than later. But a fun Dynamite tonight. The show, as Matt said, seemed to flow pretty well. And we are certainly setting up for a couple future shows. We obviously have to get to Double or Nothing in May, but we also have Battle of the Belts coming up in May, or I'm sorry, in April. I keep thinking it's April. Coming up in April, and maybe we do another. Maybe I can get Mrs. Money to do a bonus show on a Saturday night after we watch the show. So stay tuned. We'll let you know about that. Gentlemen, a couple pieces of news and notes. Not a lot here. I think the only kind of big rumored news of the week was that there's some heat between TK and MJF. Apparently it stemmed from an interview that MJF did with Ariel Helwani. And it wasn't so much the content of the interview, but the fact that the PR team didn't know about it, and discussions between the two apparently left them both frustrated. And also, MJF is not reportedly happy about his contract status. So it should be interesting to see what happens with MJF. I mean, obviously, if they let him walk, that is not good.
I mean, he does still have 2 years. 2024 is his actual year. I will say there was a follow-up on that where they had a second conversation that apparently went much better, and they are considered to be friends. I think MJF just MJF signed the contract when he was viewed as the future, but he wasn't at the level he's at now. So clearly he might think he's underpaid. At the same point, his contract's still for 2 years. I get Tony Khan being like, that's why we sign you to this. Like, we try to take advantage of you in the years that you paid low so that when I got to re-sign you for a lot of money, we're paying, it makes up for it. But I'm sure they'll settle that. The interview thing, we always have known that you could just tell by the way AEW interviews come out that they're very particular about that their PR has to be involved. I get that to a point. I think it's a little overboard for a company that relies heavily on a certain wrestling fan base that you're so protective, but whatever. Hopefully they sort this shit out.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of time left on his deal, but you definitely don't want somebody feeling frustrated over their deal. But listen, to me, it's just like any other sports contract, right? How many times has it happened with baseball players? You know, somebody signed cheap, but their deal's coming up and they're due a lot of money, right? You got to pay them to keep them. That's how it works, you know. That's business in any fashion. So hopefully that all gets settled. But just another little piece of news. Also, sorry, I was reading a note somebody else sent me. I think Fight Club said that part of the frustration, by the way, was the fact that MJF was frustrated in his contract because people who have signed after him are earning way more money than he does. Again, I mean, you know, to the point. You're signed young, you know, you have now kind of pushed your ceiling, right? So I think you're making the case for future earnings, but we can't change it midway. So
yeah, I mean, I guess maybe if you're I don't know how, maybe you renegotiate, but force him to take a slight bit of a discount, but he gets a big bump now. Maybe you get a couple more years out of that slightly lower tier. I don't know. Like I'm just gonna make up numbers here, so don't anyone quote me as saying he's getting paid this. But if you're getting paid $2 million, if he's worth $2 million, maybe say I'll pay you only $1.5 million, but we'll start now and we'll go to 2026 or something. So you kind of build in your extension. He gets his money now, but he did have to take a little bit of a cut of what he'd make in 2024.
Sure. And I think Kate called attention to it before, or alluded to the fact that Marco Stunt is gone. But yes, Matt can
won.
rejoice.
Matt won this round.
His contract, Christopher Daniels apparently said his contract would not be renewed due to growing roster and, quote, budget cuts. So
I don't get why I mean, I guess technically it's a budget cut. Like, we don't have the money for you, but it just seems like a weird term when it's basically we're just not renewing your contract. You don't even need an excuse.
Well, they could be also making some other budget cuts as far as like maybe you know, when they started they didn't have, like, let's say, an in-house video production division, right? Maybe now, you know, you're cutting budgets in other ways, so you're bringing things like that in-house instead of using outhouse, right? So
no, I agree. I'm just saying, like, when you let a contract expire, you don't have to give them any reason.
Sure.
So
well,
you could have just said the roster's expanding. We're sorry, we just don't have space right now.
Sure.
Like, it seems weird to say budget cuts. And the reason I say it seems weird to say budget cuts is because the entire conversation today online was the use of the term budget cuts, because that's what WWE says when they legitimately cut someone.
Right.
And my opinion will be, and has been, and will always be, it's very fucking different to cut someone years before their contract's supposed to end, rather than letting someone's contract expire at its pre-agreed upon time, and they've known for months that it's going to expire. The only thing I haven't liked is that you hear they went quiet for a while, and that's kind of shitty. You shouldn't go quiet on a guy. But he's known this is coming up, so like he's had time to plan.
Right. But that's it, folks. Unless anybody else has anything else going on they want to discuss, we're done. So, hey, Matt.
Yo.
What are you doing when you're not here on Wednesday nights?
A little bit of this, a little bit of
that.
Gonna give it a ho, hey.
Monday nights, the Shining Wizards Wrestling podcast. Every Monday night, 7:00 ish, 6:50, 6:55. I don't know. We can't figure out a time. It's a weird time. And then half the people leave at 8:00 to watch fucking Raw, like a bunch of fucking sheep. Thinking Cody Rhodes is gonna show up. Enjoy your fucking Bobby Lashley almost feud, you fucking adults. We do lots of wrestling talk and talk about wrestling. We have guests. I have guests scheduled all through April. We're going to have a banner April to follow up the sick ass March that we just had. So this week we're going to have Sean Donovan is joining us. He's a local guy, does Wrestle Pro, ISPW. He'll be joining us. And the big deal, Craig Steele, who just beat Fandango for the SWF world title, will be calling in to promote a couple shows. And then the week after that, the 11th of April, we have Moses from the Sons of Savagery. We just had Khan, and he was just on Dark. So we'll check in with him. The 18th, we got Big F and Vin, that's 911's kid, and Lash LaRue from WCW fame. And then we'll round out the month of April with young Billy Starks, Young Williams. So we got a jam-packed lineup every Monday night, plus Kevin's top 5. I lost the Can You Beat That challenge a couple weeks ago. So Kevin will be taking on Kevin Rogue from the Duke and Rogue year-end podcast, and he was on our Down the Aisle special we did a couple of Fridays ago. Plus Down the Aisle, Wizards Rewind, all sorts of fun shenanigans happening over on the Monday night show. So check it out at Wizards Podcast on Twitter. Hit that link tree. All the links are in there. So if you got some time, check us out.
Sounds good, man. And hey, I'd like to throw out if you do another one of those Friday night Down the Aisles, those are so much fun. I'd love to do another one.
Yes, I will. It will happen. I just need to figure out when.
Yes. Kate, when you're not here, what are you doing?
Oh my god. Well, this week. Too much. I was on PWI's Get the W. We were previewing an event that got canceled. So I don't know if that episode is going to be coming out. The first ever Sherry Martel Classic was supposed to take place with Reality of Wrestling. That is no longer happening, but we might release the episode anyway, maybe not. Tuesdays, I am losing my mind on the NXT post show with Alex Plowski, Sour Graps, on Fightful YouTube. Wednesdays, obviously here anytime that I can be. Thursdays, I'm taking a nap. And Fridays, I have AEW Rampage and SmackDown review show. I'm also hopping on the Supercard of Honor review show after that on Friday. Saturday, I'm doing the NXT Stand and Deliver post show on Fightful YouTube. And nights 1 and 2 of Wrestlemania, I'm on Fightful Select doing Mania review shows. And I'm also doing a Mania Night 2 watch along with the True Heel Heat podcast. Oh my gosh. And then Monday, I am taking all the naps and I'm not talking at all to anyone. So not using my voice.
That's what you say now. Until somebody calls you up and they're like, hey, you want to do this? And you're like, yep, absolutely.
Mondays, I keep reserved in case the Wizards need me out of the bullpen. It's the only thing I want to do on Mondays. Thank you very much.
See, but still, that's the same thing. If somebody says, hey, you want to do this? You're like, yep, I'll do it.
Yeah, but that's like a field trip. That's all fun.
Schlong, what are you doing when you're not with us?
Nothing. On Mondays and Tuesdays, you can find me live tweeting Dark and Elevation from our Twitter, Mark Order Pod. Follow us there. You can also find me there during the week. I do most of pretty much all the tweeting, and I don't engage in asshole comments or aggression. So if you're going to talk with me, let's be nice about it, because that's how I'll just ignore you otherwise. So but I will engage in any wrestling conversation you want to have. And I do encourage everyone to do 2 things. Check out the Wizards and their interviews and the Down the Aisle segment, which I have expressed has been awesome. Listen, man, I'm putting it over. I really enjoyed Down the Aisle.
I appreciate that. It's all Tony's. That was Tony's baby. So I got to give credit what credit is due.
Yeah, it's one of the more, especially for if you have any, you don't even have to know things. It's just they go down a card, a random card they picked, and just start seeing where it leads them, and it's kind of fun because it's some weird rabbit holes, but it's concentrated. And then I've been liking and retweeting as many of them as I can, but the PWI covers and wrestling covers Matt's been putting up, I do encourage everyone to see them because they are a piece of history that's just funny, but also just interesting. But some of them are hilarious. Like Matt showed an ad from 2000 that featured Triple H and some lovely ladies, and it's like it couldn't have been more of a 2000 era ad. So
Stacker 2.
Jesus Christ.
Stacker 2. I'm sure there's some good Ico pros maybe somewhere too.
Yeah, If my event tomorrow gets rained out, I'll be maybe I'll throw some more up there.
Man,
Some
oh man.
time after the gym.
So, Ant, where are
thinking that
you?
Ico Pro?
I wish it was Ico Pro. We had me and the wife tried some shitty energy drink today.
That's probably not good to put in your system before you work out.
No, that's what it's designed to do. It's
It's a pre-workout?
Yeah, it's like Celsius. It was
I don't
not
know.
good. There's no sugar, but it's like all caffeine and some Splenda, and I felt like my fucking teeth were gonna fall out of my mouth, and it didn't taste like cherry lime. And my wife dumped half her dragon fruit down the drain. It was not good.
Man, oh man.
Stick to the old agua.
Well, when I'm not here, I'm doing stuff at home because I got nothing else going on. But what I can tell you is that if you do follow us on our social, make sure to hit up that link tree to request your free Mark Order Podcast stickers. Again, if you've already gotten some stickers in the mail, pump the brakes on asking for more stickers. We want to make sure we're getting people stickers for the first time. We do appreciate the requests, and we'll find another way to get you some stickers. Don't worry about it. But if you'd like your free stickers, just hit the link tree, hit the button to request free stickers, send us your name, your mailing address, and the country you live in, and I will send them out to you free of charge. You can get some of these fancy Mark Order Podcast stickers. Matt wants them. He's trying to grab them. He can't get them.
Okay.
But yeah, and then make sure that you're following us on any form of social media. If you are following us, let's say on Twitter, just hit the link tree. All of our links to all of our socials are there. For everybody who watched us tonight on YouTube, hello, thank you, we love you. Kyle K. Sparks and Asian Joe, Marky Mark Kayfabe.
Word.
So many people, I can't even remember all of them. In the chat, we do appreciate you chatting along. We love reading your comments and the fact that you guys, we could see you're talking to each other, which is awesome. So we thank you for watching us live. If you're listening to us in podcast form, we also appreciate your support. Please, if you're not watching us, if you are not watching us on YouTube, give it a shot. You could see the crazy backgrounds Ryan has wearing his hat on his headphones, Matt playing with the cat, and Buster running out with his red rocket, all the fun stuff. So check us out, follow us, or subscribe on YouTube. We appreciate everything you guys do for us. So with that, that's it for tonight. We will see you next week on the Mark Order Podcast.
So schlong and good night.
Yes. Matt, send us home.
Goodbye and good night.
This concludes the Mark Order Podcast. We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming. Join the Mark Order.